And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Britain Sports Network here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon from Michigan. Jim Funderburg along with Jim Bellamy this afternoon as we get ready for home game number 2, game number 3 for the Brits on the season, Jim. And this is a ball game I think that Coach Rundle and his guys are expecting to win. And I would think you'll probably see a little extra effort and urgency out of that team today.
I think when you look back at last week's game, having the lead going into the fourth quarter, then having kind of a disappointing fourth quarter on both sides of the ball kind of tends to leave a sour taste in your mouth. And I think Coach Rundle looked at the game film, probably didn't dwell on it too much. I don't think the players did either. They looked at the missed opportunities, and I think that they'll tighten those things up, specifically the run defense, not giving up big chunks on first down to make it second and third and very manageable. And also on offense, needing to sustain drives, put some points on the board and get some time off the clock. Those two things, you fixed those two things really last week, and that final score could be a much different score.
Today is the Saturday afternoon, third week of the season here, where the teams basically have a head-to-head against the Northern Athletic Collegiate Conference, the NACC, and this afternoon every MIAA team will be taking on a conference from the NACC, and it should be an interesting afternoon of football, Jim, as we start to look at a team like Concordia from Wisconsin. It's a football team that comes in and really, when you take a look at it on paper, is a team that you have to be concerned about. But there are a couple issues today that we're going to have to deal with, and they're going to have to deal with, as there will be some new faces in their lineup that have not been showing up so far.
Absolutely right, and we'll get into the starting lineups in just a little bit. But as a spoiler alert, quarterback is going to be one of those positions, Jim, where the young man who's going to be starting for Concordia, Wisconsin, has not thrown a pass yet this season. So, the Brits defense, there's that optimism in terms of, the guy hadn't seen the field really for any meaningful time. But on the other hand, there's that fear of the unknown. You never know really what you're going to get out of the new quarterback. And so, hopefully there's a little butterflies in that young man's stomach, and the defense forces some 3-and-outs and rattled his confidence just a little bit.
Take a look at the two conferences coming into this afternoon. The MIAA has Tryon on top 2-0. Alma, Hope, and Olivet are all 1-1. Adrian 0-1, as they've only played one game so far this year, and they'll be actually playing next week at Stevens Point when everybody else takes a week off. Albion and Kalamazoo both at 0-2. In the NACC, it is Chicago, Concordia, and Lakeland and both at 1-0. Aurora, Benedictine, and Concordia, Wisconsin at 1-1. Rockford at 0-1, and Wisconsin Lutheran at 0-2. And paying attention this afternoon to the schedule and the games that are being played between the two conferences, our sideline correspondent, Joe Bolello. I'm going to change your name, John. How's that?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, John. How are you?
I'm fine. Got some good matchups coming up later, and at the same time as the Albion game. So coming up at 1 will be Alma against Benedictine of Illinois. Should be a good one. Alma hopes to continue to be 3-0, be undefeated. After that, we have Olivet against Aurora, another big MIAA game. Then Tryon takes on Wisconsin Lutheran. And then at 1:30, Hope has a good game against Lakeland. And then Kalamazoo hopes to get a win later at 2 o'clock against Concordia of Illinois. At 5, we got Wisconsin Stevens Point against Adrian.
In fact, Adrian and Rockford here tonight. That 5 o'clock game's been moved to 7, and that Stevens Point game is next week. Yeah, we're both off to a great start right now. John, how's that?
Yeah,
both of us.
Good.
Joe, as they call you in your nickname when you're playing lacrosse. But yeah, it should be an interesting ball game today. There are some interesting matchups, but all in all, Jimmy, I think it is a situation where the MIAA over the course of the years has pretty well dominated this conference interleague play. And Bobby sent us a few notes over here just the other day about this. So far, they all started back in 2012 with this conference matchup between the two of them, and so far the MIAA has done a pretty good job of handling the folks coming in from Wisconsin and in Illinois.
They've won 25 of the 35 matchups. Didn't start out too well in 2012 when this exchange rivalry began, MIAA went 2-5 that year. However, since then they've posted winning records every year: 5-2, 6-1, 7-0, and 15. Last year 5-2 as well. So the overall record, if you're keeping score since 2013, MIAA leads 24-4 over the NACC, and home games, MIAA 13-1 against the NACC. So statistically, looks like we could have a good day for the Brits. But the game isn't played on paper, as you and I know. It's played on a field with young men wearing pads and getting ready to knock the stuffing out of each other.
No doubt about that. And to see what Coach Rundle thinks about this afternoon's matchup, let's hear from the coach right now on the Brits Sports Network.
Before the season started, we thought we had a chance to be a pretty good team, and after 2 games, I still believe we're going to have a chance to be a really good team and compete for a league championship. We're not that far away. We're real close. We've played 2 really good teams in the first 2 weeks, and had leads going in late in the game, and just didn't finish games. So we've seen enough, from our guys competing during the course of those 2 games that we feel we're really close to turning the corner. Kyle Thomas is a quarterback that started for us the first 2 weeks, and the transfer student came from Findlay. He's a redshirt freshman, so he didn't compete in any games there at Findlay. So really he's had 2 games of experience, and coming in the fall he didn't have spring practice either. So I think he's going to be a really good player for us. He's a great athlete. He makes good decisions. I think the more he plays with the receivers and the other guys on the offense, the more confident he'll have in those guys and trust them a little bit more, to do things as well. And I think that's just kind of a growing process for him. But he's shown some real flashes of being good. He's an evasive guy, and he's pretty good when he gets out of the pocket. He can extend plays, and he's also done a good job of decision making. So he's going to get better and better. I think he's going to be a really, really good quarterback for us. I think this year defensively, I think we're improved, and we've played well in spurts in both games. Saturday against Stevens Point, they had a receiver that was a really good player, and he made some plays, and that was really kind of the difference in the game. They made key plays, and I told our players, I think the difference was just in all the 50-50 balls. They made plays on them, and we didn't, and that was really kind of the thing that separated us in a fairly close game. So I feel good about our progress. We still got to get better, but we've got some good players. Our secondary is improved over a year ago. Our defensive line, I think, is real good. We got some good players there, so I feel good about the progress there. This week is our final non-league game before we have a bye, and then start our league games. We play Concordia University, and I think this week we want to execute as we're capable of doing, kind of improve some of the areas that we've identified over the first games, but finish on a positive note going into the bye week. And as I told our players after Saturday, we still have all the things that we have as goals in front of us to achieve. We want to win our league and compete in the NCAA playoffs, and those things still are attainable for us, but we've got to get better, and this week's kind of a step in it. We want to go into the bye week with some momentum, playing well, and be able to really start focusing on getting ready to play Adrian in that first league game.
Well, there you go, Coach Rundle, relatively optimistic right now, Jim. I think he feels like his team is just a couple of plays and a couple of executions away from being able to really turn this season around and start winning some football games. So always good to hear that. With that, why don't we head down to the football field right now. The Eights are on the field, and we'll go listen to the British Eights as they do our alma mater and our national anthem.
gentlemen, the British 8. The British 8 leaves you this afternoon with an uplifting and heroic anthem celebrating the legacy of British football. Discovered in the Albion College archives and dating back to the turn of the 20th century. Arranged by T.J. Wolfram, here is On to Victory.
Well, the Eights have made their presence known, and we'll catch a little bit of their program here at halftime, Jimbo. But we're getting ready for this football game this afternoon. You know, you have a team coming in here today that has averaged on offense 418 total yards an afternoon. And they've divided that up pretty well between passing and running. But as you said this afternoon, we are changing horses behind center. And Dalton Poole, who is a true freshman out of Wisconsin, will be called on to play here this afternoon, as their quarterback Aaron Nixon, who was a senior, did not make the trip here this afternoon. So we will not see Nixon this afternoon. Poole, as you said, has thrown no passes, run the ball twice for 1 total yard.
Yep, so I guess you could say there isn't a whole lot of game film on Dalton Poole. And again, like we said earlier, that could be a good thing or that could be a challenging thing. And you'd like to think that a little bit of butterflies in the young man's stomach, making his first start of the season. We'll see how he performs on the road. You know, sometimes maybe those road games, especially so far away from home, might not be the worst place in the world to get an unexpected start. You don't have the pressure of the home crowd. You kind of, you know, when you're on the road, it's always us against the world, and sometimes it makes it a little easier. It's one less thing to be distracted by.
Well, and you also have a situation, and I guess if it's a double-edged sword here today, not only did the starting quarterback not come in Aaron Nixon, but also their starting running back, Josh Sanders, 6'3", 215-pounder out of Phoenix, Arizona, is not going to be here as well. I'm sorry, I go down to Josh Turner. I got that wrong, from Palatine, Illinois, 5'11", 190-pound freshman. He will not be here as well. And in Turner, you really had that double threat, Jim. He could both run and catch the football.
Yeah, Turner on the season, 37 carries for 155 yards. But he also did a little bit of damage in the air, 4 receptions on the season. And so, you know, again, dual threat. Got about 8 yards a catch and also about 4 yards a carry. So, you know, that's yardage and dependability you're going to have to make up. And you know, I'm not sure how Concordia, Wisconsin is going to go about it, but you know that's what they pay the coaches for, to figure big questions like that out.
In his place will be Matt Montgomery, who is 5'5", 160 pounds. He's also a freshman out of Hillsboro, Texas. So that'll be an interesting situation. John, before you head down to the sideline, you an athlete yourself. When you lose a couple of your top guys,
Testing. 1, 2.
That makes things entirely different when you're going on and taking an opponent like the Brits here this afternoon.
Oh yeah, you really got to buckle down and trust these new guys, but you know it can be a problem because they're not in a rhythm like your starters are. A lot of questionable things going on.
No doubt about that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out this afternoon. With that, we're going to send you to the sideline. How's that? Go down, get comfortable down there in your favorite spot on the turf. And keep us up to date as to what's going on with your bird's eye view, and also from the scores around the conference here this afternoon.
Sounds good. I'll try to keep cool.
Attaboy, it's a little warm down there. John Bilala going down. He will be our sideline eyeballs here this afternoon. And you heard the referee testing his mic as we're about ready to flip the coin to get things started here this afternoon.
Jim, before we get the coin toss, I want to say hi to Joe Mayon, class of 16, watching from Royal Oak, Michigan. Thanks for tuning in. Shoot us an email at webcast@albion.edu. Let us know who you are, from where you're watching. And if you're a Brit, let us know what year you graduated as well. We'd love to be able to give you a shout out on the air. And certainly also welcome the viewers from Wisconsin who might be tuning in and all around the country and around the world.
The Concordia Falcons. Last week we had a number of folks that were watching out there from Wisconsin Stevens Point. I'm sure we'll have some viewers that will be Falcons fans this afternoon, and we look forward to chatting with you as well as we go down to the field for the toss of the coin. Brits today obviously in their purple jerseys with their gold helmets and their gold numbers, gold pants. And the Falcons come in with their white unis with all the dark blue trim. So it should be an interesting game today.
Concordia, you have the calls. Heads, tails, what we were called be. Tails is call. And it's a head. Albion, you want your choice. Defer. You want the ball? Or do you want to kick? All right, turn around, please. Okay, so.
So there you have it. We have the Britons winning the coin toss, deferring to the second half. Today, Jimmy, there is a little bit of a breeze blowing. It's blowing right at us. It's coming from the visitor side right across the field to our face here on the home side and the home side bleachers. So the ball not going to be affected going up and down the football field today. It's going to go side to side. So those passes maybe that are trying to be thrown on the out routes here today might be a little touchy and testy when we get started today until both quarterbacks can get the feel for how the wind's affecting the ball.
Watch the greatest potential impact be on the third phase of the game, Jim, special teams. Kickoff, if you're going to directionally kick, if you're kicking towards, say, the near corner to us, then Concordia be going left to right on your screen when they receive this opening kick. If you're kicking towards the corner like they did for quite a number of times last week, that ball could easily be going out of bounds. You may have to kick closer towards the middle to get it towards that side. Punting is the same issue. If you want to hang it up, ball may hang in the wind and might drift out. You may get 10 yards less in the air on a punt. You could definitely switch field position in a hurry.
So the Britons will kick off. Concordia will drop their receivers back deep, and they will have two of them that will be dropping back in coverage. Closest to us, as we get them to turn around just a little bit for us here. And we take a look, it looks like Isaiah Tunette is back here as one receiver. He's on the home side here on the hash at the 5. And number 4, Jordan Edwards on the visitor's side, on the opposite side there. So those are the two gentlemen that are hoping to give Concordia a bit of a spark to get things going today. And Tunette, interesting to note on Tunette, he does have one kick return for 99 yards and a touchdown this year. The young guy is a sophomore out of Sacramento, California. So I guess if you're kicking away from somebody, it's the gentleman with the number 1 on his jersey here on the home side. And as soon as I say that, we kick it right to him. He'll field it at the 9, head straight up the football field looking for a block or two. He'll get some and then get to the 32-yard line before the Brits are able to stop him right there. On the tackle, Jordan Carter. And the Britons will go on defense. For the offense for the Falcons here this afternoon, Dalton Poole will be the quarterback this afternoon. The wide receivers will start with Ryan Wagner, Josh Sanders, and the running back will be Matt Montgomery. Also Isaiah Tunette and David Coy, the other wide receivers, and they will start with 3 of them on top, and they'll turn and hand the football off right away to the young fellow that's getting his first start on the afternoon. And it's actually Nick Marisola who will start. He's a freshman out of Sussex, Wisconsin. Marisola, at least, Jimmy, has rushed the ball 14 times this year. That is rush number 15. He'll get a couple on that one, and that takes his total for the season up to about 86 yards.
And Jacob Wickens, number 41, the sophomore on the stop there. 2nd and 9. That's what you want. You don't want 2nd and 3 or 4.
Handoff again goes to Marisola, and this time he has some room, and he'll be across the 40-yard line to about the 41. He'll be very close to that first down marker. On the defense today for the Brits, the defensive line looks like this. It's Fullerton, and Lynn at the ends. Reynolds and Cubit Miller are the tackles. Linebackers are Wickens and Rodriguez. And Harvey, Anarot, Carter, Edwards, and Robinson, the defensive backs here for your Britons as we get started here this afternoon. Just underway. Great to have you here on the Britons Network this afternoon. Looking for a great afternoon of football, and this will be very close. Going to depend on where they spot him.
I think they're going to give him the first down here, Jim. Didn't look like he was going to get it at first, but I think that extra surge at the end was just enough. Yep, they're going to call that a first down. As you'll notice, if you're viewing from Wisconsin today, we don't tend to measure a whole lot. We have the best eyes in the refereeing business here.
We only bring in referees with 20/10 vision on this whole situation every Saturday afternoon so that they don't have to waste our time measuring.
We'd rather play football.
That's exactly what we're into as well. First pass of the afternoon will be caught by Tunette, and Tunette will be wrapped up right away by Richard Anarot. And the gain will be minimal. In fact, they're going to call it no gain whatsoever and make it 2nd down and 10 from the 43-yard line.
I think it might have actually been Harvey Michael on the stop there, big guy.
There you go, 7 instead of 1. That 7 and 1 give me fits every now and then. They need to be bigger.
I'm surprised
guys.
I got it.
They need to be bigger guys, Jimmy. That would make the numbers bigger for these old eyes. How's that? That 1 and 7, you got to get the hang of there a little bit. Hand off again. We'll go to the only tailback, and he'll catch a couple of yards across the 45 to about the 46-yard line before the Brits are there to knock him down.
Concordia, Wisconsin, the season started off with a 42-6 win against Finlandia. Then they went on the road to Augsburg and lost 38-16. Head coach Greg Etter is number 2 all-time wins at CWU.
Cubit Miller was credited with that tackle. Here comes the blitz. Ball gets out quickly, and it's completed. And the Josh Sanders with the football, and he's up the sideline after a missed tackle. And what should have been a 4th down and a couple turns out to be a nice gain by the Falcons, as you see the replay here on that one.
Would have been about 2 yards short. Hit him right about midfield there. Went for the stick instead of the wrap. And that's where if you're going to stick, you use both hands. You put him around that waist and you drive him backwards right there until his forward momentum is stopped.
Ends up being about a 27-yard completion and 1st and 10 now for the Falcons. And I'll tell you, you're giving this young fella a little hope. Dalton Poole on the pitch out as the sweep goes around the left end. But the turf seems a little unfriendly to the running back Marisola, and he'll slip and fall down at about the 32 for a loss of a couple.
And to your point about the new quarterback, that was a two-handed pitch. That was more like a chest pass in basketball right there. That was a little unorthodox, and I think that helped the defense kind of seal that edge right there because it was not clean, just didn't look comfortable doing that.
Tunette and Saunders are the 2 receivers right in front of us right now. On the other side is Ryan Wagner.
Jet sweep.
And they'll hand off on that jet sweep to Tunette, and Tunette is not going to get to that corner in time. And I believe that is Anarot, number 1, the first guy that got over there and made the tackle on that one, along with a couple helpers. And the loss will be about 1. It'll set up a 3rd down now at about 14.
Coming from the safety position, usually when your defensive backfield is high in tackles, it means that they're getting into that 2nd and 3rd wave of the defense. Instead, this time he's playing run support, showing a run blitz on that jet sweep. Got him behind the line for a nice loss, 3rd and long.
Coach said things were going to move around a little bit with that defensive secondary, and Harvey's gone from the home side to the visitor's side. And this nice coverage by the Brits and some good pressure coming off the edge. It was 94 Sean Cubit Miller that was putting some heat on the quarterback, and that one was a little bit low. 4th down now at about 14.
Too far to kick, too close to punt. So they'll keep the offense out on the field on a 4th and 13. Opportunity for the Brits defense right here to play, not a prevent defense, but you just have to keep them in front of the chains and wrap up on the tackle.
Jacob Mason is their kicker and punter, and that would be about a 50-yarder, so they will keep the offense on the field. Here comes the pressure, and the quarterback's going to go down again, and guess who's got him again? 94 Sean Cubit Miller with his first sack of the afternoon, and that's only sack number 2 and 3 for the Britons on this year. He had some help with Joe Fullerton in on the play at that point in time, and with that, the Brits will have decent field position as they hold on downs.
Good job by the defense right there. Again, 4th and 13. You're kind of in no man's land way out there, but you know, you still appreciate the effort of the defense bouncing back after that 3rd down stop where they gained about 25, 26, 27 yards on that catch and run. So that's a opportunity right there to redeem, and they did a great job.
Thomas hands to Servo, and Servo picks his way up close to midfield before he's knocked down. He'll get 11 on that opening carry. And the Brits offense right at the line of scrimmage. They have had some troubles with time of possession this year, Jim, but oftentimes it's because of the speed of that offense and getting back to that line as much as what they do. They'll fake this time. They'll throw it to Poor. Poor with the stiff arm will be knocked out of bounds at the Britain's bench after he picks up about 5. In fact, they're going to give him, one side judge is giving him the 44. The other one says he stepped out at the 46, and he's the guy that will overrule as he's on this side. So pickup of about 5 on first down, and the Brits have some offense already moving.
But you guessed 22 on the stop. Won't get a chance to call too many defensive things at the pace of this game, Jimbo.
Double stacked on both sides, and a nice strike goes right down the center of the field. That's Koski with the catch. And he's got the football down inside the 25. They're going to mark him at the 24, move the sticks one more time as the Britons are on the roll. And again, didn't even get a real good chance to set the offense here this afternoon.
To get it on the second or third position.
Doubles at the top, doubles stacked on the bottom, and they'll hit Poor, and Poor will get it to the 10-yard line, that little drag route underneath, and it'll be first down and 10 from the 11, so the Brits can actually pick up a first down without scoring a touchdown right now. Koski's right in front of us at this point in time, and I believe that's Blanzy on the top, as Thomas will slow things down just a little bit. Fakes on that read option. Now he'll roll to his left. He sees some open room. He's going to run down the sideline, and he's in the end zone. Did he step out? It looks like nope, he didn't. They were conferring down there, both side judge and the back judge, and they decided that Thomas found his way right down that sideline, Jim.
Had that free blitzer right there, but he was able to get outside the pocket. Good block by the wide receiver, and you see the tightrope act down the sideline. The wind did knock him out of bounds right there, so that's a good thing.
So just like the Brits had it all planned this afternoon, the defense comes out, holds on their first possession, keeps the Falcons in striking range for the offense, and the offense takes it right down, and with the extra point, go ahead 7-0 here on the Britain Sports Network. So a nice job by the Britons at that point, Jim, to be able to pull that one together. And that offense looks like it's clicking here this afternoon, and that's exactly what we were hoping for.
I want to say hi to Seth Hubbard watching from Marietta, Georgia, class of 2015, says Go Brits. Thank you so much, Seth, for watching. And also Sean Kubit Miller's grandpa in Silva, North Carolina, and the Great Smoky Mountains. Love that part of the country. Ted watching on the broadcast. So thank you so much for tuning in. And again, we'd love to hear from you if you're a Brits fan or an alum, or if you're watching from the upper Midwest area around Wisconsin. Love to hear from you too.
5 plays, 65 yards for the Britons drive that time, and the 11-yard scramble there by the quarterback, Thomas.
I think that was the longest time play of the entire possession, wasn't it?
It really was. Tounette with the reception down about the 5-yard line, comes out to the center of the field. Now he's kind of running out of room. He'll reverse his field.
He's got a lot of grass over here, Jim.
30, 35. This young fella can fly, and he's out of bounds right around the midfield stripe at the Brit sideline.
And amazingly, no holding on that. That was all effort right there. They tried to contain going to the left side, and they did a great job of containing to his left. But the problem is they kind of overcommitted, and as you can see, not a whole lot of purple jerseys back on this side. And he saw that, and he kept those legs moving and had great vision. Was able to race up the left sideline, turned nothing into something right there, and gives them excellent starting field position.
Got to believe that Poole has a little more confidence the way that he moved this offense the very first time around as he fakes to Marcella, and then he throws a little outlet screen to Jake Ripatella.
That was a major league stick right there, Jimbo.
Ripatella will pick up about 5 on that first down carry, and you're right, Jim, a good hit by the Britons.
Yep. He's not afraid to come in and help and run support, and also those short passes, which are basically like runs. He's right there at the line of scrimmage coming up from the safety position.
Falcons will go with 3 wide receivers at the top, a high snap, and they'll hand it to the running back who will have the first down. And Maricela is up the field to about the 36-yard line. So 2 plays and a first down for the Falcons, and that Falcons offensive line opening up some holes here at the early stages of both these drives. And the Britons have done a decent job of being able to slow things down. Coy comes off the field and Ripatella back onto the field. Ripatella is actually even a backup quarterback, Jim, if they need to use one. He is the third stringer here this afternoon, and he will go in motion towards the visitor sideline. Oh, that one Harvey saw coming. He's got 2 of them on the year already, and he was hoping for number 3, and that one was going to go 65 to the house.
And I think the only reason that pass was not intercepted is because it was too high.
Yeah.
He overthrew his receiver, and if that had been on the money, that would have been right in the breadbasket, headed the opposite way for 6.
Intended for Sanders. Harvey's eyes were about as big as silver dollars when he saw that one coming his way.
And he stared down his receiver, too. You have to at least look off for a moment.
The freshman will do that every now and then. Here comes the heat. Ball thrown a little high and a little earlier than what he wanted to, and over the head out in the flat of Nick Marisola. And it'll be 3rd down now and 10. And again, the defense for the Britons right now kind of ratcheting things up just a little bit, Jim.
I think pressure is the name of the game right here. Dalton Poole, again, first start, not a whole lot of action to this point in the season, and you can start to see why he only has 1 yard on 2 carries. He is definitely a throw-first quarterback. He's a little more flat-footed, can shift in the pocket, but is probably not going to take off and run the ball too much.
To net on that jet sweep again, and he's going to run out of real estate over on his sideline.
Well done.
He'll get a couple of yards, but that's it, as the Brits are able to string that one out nicely and sitting there waiting on Trey Edwards to make this tackle after only about a 2-yard gain, and now you'll probably see the punt.
Yep. And it really isn't much different field position-wise from where the first one is, but again, you'd rather, if you're gonna concede this 4-down set, you'd rather try to pin him inside the 10 than give him the ball near the 40.
Jordan Carter will put his heels on the 10-yard line, and anything hit over his head is going to head towards the end zone, and he'll let it go, I'm sure. As Mason will step onto the field at the midfield stripe and get ready to kick this away. Left footer, and he's angling over to the sideline inside the 10, and it just absolutely stops at about the 6.
Nice backspin right there on that kick.
So 7:17 to play in the opening quarter of football here, as the Britons find themselves on top 7-0, and we'll head down to the sideline. John, what do you think? So far, good start, buddy.
Oh, it's an amazing start compared to last week. I think they're getting real good pressure on the quarterback, not allowing him to get a rhythm, and it's, even when Concordia has decent field position, they can't do much with it, which is just a huge win for the Brits.
Thomas has him in motion right now. He's back at his goal line in that pistol look with a running back to his left. We expect to see Zarnecki in this ball game as a running back here at some point in time today. This throw is batted down at the line of scrimmage as he was heading for Kyle Winchell, the tight end, who was coming on a crossing pattern across the center of the field, and that ball knocked down.
I think Damon Mull, number 46, the linebacker, Jim, got his hand up right there and knocked it down.
Thomas goes back to the air, same play, and this time it's a connection as Winchell has the ball at the 23-yard line, 1st down and 10.
Saying hi to Chris Wilson, class of 16 from Marietta, Georgia. I believe that's our second Marietta, Georgia viewer, so you guys should get together and have a viewing party.
Yeah,
Go Brits.
maybe they are.
Yeah, that's true.
Triples right here in front of us for the Britons. Single running back in the backfield. Thomas going to look to throw the deep ball. That's more.
He's
got
open.
him. 40.
He's
30.
gone, my friend.
10-yard
Adios.
line, and just like that, the Brits hook up for a big connection. 78 yards on the pitch and catch. And you've got to believe that Marlon Martin is happy.
Floats it up, and again, you talked about the wind kind of pushing it. That one was more like a lazy pop fly at the end, but because he had 2 steps in separation, was able to angle back towards on that post pattern. And you can see the breakaway speed at the end, taking it to the house to put the Brits up 2 scores early.
Well, the drive summary on that one is going to be quick.
A lot and a little.
3 plays for a touchdown. Extra point is up and good, and just like that, with 6:48 still to play in this opening quarter, the Britons go on top 14-0.
It's about a 94-yard drive right there?
Yeah, it happened all the way from back on the 6-yard line where we started. It all started with an incomplete pass and then a completed pass or two, and another incompletion, and then so he's 2 for 4 on that drive. And the Brits go 96 yards in a total of 4 plays, with the extra point being good. And the Britons now up 14-0.
The Britain men's soccer team, Jim, will make its home debut today, 4:30 kickoff against MIAA rival Trine University. Stick around after the game to cheer on the Britain's men's soccer team. And Jim, they are off to their best start in 6 years, a 3-0-1 start. And Coach Molinar very happy with the way that men's soccer program is performing so far. Best start in 6 years.
Danette and Edwards back deep here for the Falcons, again right about that 5-yard line, and they will kick it to Danette again. This time it angles away from him and bounces past him and into the end zone. So the touchback will give the Falcons the football, first down and 10.
But you see how far that ball blew over to that corner.
The net was coming after it, but again, kind of a tough angle to make the catch on that ball, and probably a wise idea to just let that one bounce into the end zone and bring the ball out to the 25, get the best field position that you possibly can get. So again, for the Britons, it was 2 quick scoring drives, and it looks like all of a sudden just what we needed. The Concordia Falcons come to town, and the Britons offense starting to click on all cylinders.
Isn't it amazing also how when the offense scores in quick possessions, it's energizing for the defense despite getting no rest.
Fake the handoff to Danette, and they'll throw the football, and it's complete to Ripatella, and Ripatella actually rips out of the grasp of the first defender and ends up at the 44-yard line with a first down catch.
Again, try to stick instead of a wrap right there. That first hit was just a stick.
One of the things that the Brits have not done all that well, again, Michael Harvey on the coverage, a good solid cover guy with the only 2 interceptions of the season so far for the Britons. But it's a couple tackles that he's allowed people to walk out of. He's got to do just a little bit better job. Now he's got some pretty good size in the receiver he's trying to cover over there. Fake the draw, and the quarterback will hang on to it. And I'll tell you what, calling your own number here on an afternoon like this one by Dalton Poole is a pretty gutsy call, but he got about 5 yards on that one. That'll be his 3rd rush of the season, and he's now up to 6 total yards in running.
By far his longest, and that'll build confidence.
2nd down and 5 now for the Falcons as he turns and behind this time to his running back, Matt Montgomery, and the 5'5", 160-pound freshman out of Texas is welcomed into the field of play today by a couple of purple shirts, and that little fellow just said, whoops, there wasn't a hole there, Jimmy. Wasn't a hole there.
No, and that's one of the weaknesses the first 2 weeks of the Britons' defense is that run right up the middle. So it's encouraging to see that the nose tackle and the rest of that D-line stiffen up.
Reynolds and Shaw on the tackle in that case for the Britons. 3rd down now and about 4, and here comes the sack off the right corner. Didn't see it coming, and that was 46 Nick Davenport that came off the edge and welcomed young Mr. Poole to the turf. The loss will take them all the way back to the 41-yard line, and it will set up a 4th down and long. And for the Britons, we're going to send Colin Poore back to return this one as he stands at the 21.
It's exactly the kind of start the Britons had to have on a day like today, Jim.
Good job by the defense here early. High snap. Mason pulls it down to the left. He gets a big booming kick. Poore will catch it at the 12-yard line. Now he's looking for a block. Back across the 20, driving those feet across the 25, and he'll be dropped at about the 27-yard line. It will be 1st down and 10 Britons. And before they even get out there, Jimmy, I'm going to set this thing up. Winchell is the tight end today. We have Brian Blanzy also playing tight end. The offensive line, a little bit of a change. Jordan Jones goes into the right tackle spot. Left tackle will be Elijah McKinney. Travis Myrick, the left guard. The center, Dan Barrett. Chase Bowser is the right guard, and then you got Marlon Martin, number 4, Colin Poore, Sean Koski, and Kyle Thomas, along with Zach Servo, will be the skill players on that football field, and they will turn. And there's Zarnecki with his first carry of the afternoon, as we heard, just like his big brother, getting a chance here to maybe make his name, Patrick is, on the offensive side of the ball. He's done a pretty nice job as a defensive back on the defensive side.
Saying hello to Tanya Mercer from Orlando, Florida. Good to hear from you.
High snap. Thomas pulls it down. He's got his guy. That's Koski, and Koski will have his pins pulled out from underneath of him about a yard shy of the first down. And the Brits will have the ball 3rd down and short at the 36.
Good thing with a 3rd and 1 is with a mobile quarterback, any play is possible right now. You're not just doing a run up the gut.
You got Moore, Winchell, and Poor over here in the triangle on our side. They'll turn and hand to Zarnecki, and he'll have his first down as a running back. Step through a tackle and still going at the 47-yard line.
That leg drive looks awfully familiar for Zarnecki, doesn't it?
It does look a little
lower
like
that
that.
shoulder, you get a low center of gravity. Watch this finish of the run. We talked about it last week. We see it here. You're going to have the tackle, dip the shoulder, take the hit, keep the legs going. Great effort.
Coach said he wanted to add a little speed to the backfield, and he has done that exactly by going back to a familiar name in that backfield. Thomas will fake. Now he'll pitch the ball out of low one, but it's caught and out of bounds. I believe that is Poor with the catch on the other side, 21.
Catch if that was a lateral, if he was past the line of scrimmage, but the officials are right there, so they would have thrown the flag if it wasn't.
Actually being a forward pass by an inch or two, but that was
Must
close.
have been at the line of scrimmage then, yeah.
That was an interesting play, and I guess that's something that we're going to look forward to seeing here over the course of the next 4 years as we do the Albion Brits football game. Fake the run, crossing pattern, Pours on the move. 15, 10, 5. What a block by number 4, Marlon Martin.
And also Koski, number 9, big guy.
Wow.
Koski, number 9. You can see the
Here
bench
it comes again.
giving him the props. It's Koski, number 9, Jim. Watch this block. This is the kind of stuff you can only dream about as a wide receiver. See him coming from the top. And there you go.
Boom. There it is.
Leader.
Probably would have ended up being 1st down and goal without that block, but Koski with some effort to open the way to the end zone, and the Brits again make short work of this Falcon defense. And with the extra point, there's still 2:53 to play here in the opening quarter, and the Britons have stretched it out to 21-0. Let's go down to the sideline. John, any word on the other teams around the conference and how they're doing right now?
Yeah, looking good for the MIAA so far. Some close games. For example, Alma is currently tied with Benedictine, 7-7 late in the first quarter. And then we have Olivet against their opponent, Aurora. Olivet is up 14-0. And then early on, Trine is tied 0-0 with Wisconsin Lutheran.
And it's got to feel good to watch football being played the way that the Brits like to play it this afternoon, John.
Oh, yeah, everyone's loving it. I love the energy out here. Everyone's psyched, and they want to pour it on. And I'd love to see it.
Well, we have 3 more quarters plus 2 minutes and 53 seconds to play football this afternoon. The Brits already have 21 points on the scoreboard.
Yep, a little bit of shock and awe by the Brits today. Short kick.
This one will come to Tunette at the 15. He'll wait for a second and pick his hole. He's across the 30 out to about the 35-yard line, and the Britons will drop him there. And again, Carter, the young guy that made the tackle, as Jordan has about 3 special teams tackles on these kickoffs so far this afternoon. Doing a good job that way for the Britons.
So Tunette on those returns, Jim. We saw this last week also, that you get those guys who with the long strides just don't look like they're going fast. And then all of a sudden they find that gap and they turn on the burners. And you saw that on the last return where he switched field. And, you just know he's going to break one if you don't contain him.
Montgomery, the running back, and the young freshman gets a couple before he runs into a whole bunch of purple jerseys. And a nice job by the Britons right there to welcome this young fellow to the turf here. Dallas Reynolds, the first guy to make the tackle, and then a couple helpers give him a couple here. And again this afternoon, if you just tuned in, the starting quarterback and starting running back for the Falcons not here this afternoon. So they're having to make a few things happen with some backups. Tunette on that underneath route. He'll be underneath the sticks by a couple of yards when the Britons knock him down at about the 43-yard line. And on the tackle, Trey Edwards, as we'll set up a 3rd down and a short 2. Or a long 1, I guess, is a little more descriptive of the distance needed. How's that, huh?
4 to 5 feet, somewhere in that range.
Turn, and again, hands to the running back, and the Brits
He did not get it.
collapse the pocket and force him backwards. And a nice job by Jacob Wickens down there and Malik Bazell to knock the pile backwards. And just like that, it'll be 4th down and 1.
And they actually thought about it. They had a pause right there before the special teams unit came on the field for Concordia, Wisconsin. Down 21-0 this early. You almost wonder if it's time, but I don't know in the first quarter, only down 3 scores, if it's time yet. But the panic button is, your thumb's right on it.
Rayshawn Robinson this time will go back to field the punt. High snap,
that
and he got that
blocked.
away. Robinson will pick it up on the roll, and he's coming straight up the middle of the field. Now he cuts directions, gets a block. He's at midfield.
It's a foot race.
40.
Had the angle.
And knocked down at about the 38-yard line. Wow,
Good
what a
speed
nice
by Troy
situation.
Stewart right there, Jim. Otherwise, it's 27-0.
And just like that, the coach getting a chance this afternoon to try a couple different guys back there in single coverage on these punt returns. And the one thing that we have always known is that we can field kicks and bring them back on you. And so far this afternoon, a nice job by this Brits special teams operation to set up the offense with some wonderful field position. Thomas going to drop. Now he'll roll. And he's going to take his time and find the lane and run it up inside the 30 to the 29. Couldn't find anybody downfield that he really wanted to throw it to, and all of a sudden said, hey, going to give me 8 yards, I'll take it. Set up a 2nd and 2. Clock down to 34 seconds and counting, so this probably is going to be the last play of the quarter, but I've been wrong with that before. 30 seconds to a Britain's offense is an eternity oftentimes. This one a throw and almost caught, but not quite. Knocked away at the last second.
John Rao, number 37 right there.
Branch Swinderman, the intended receiver.
Jumped that route. Both guys at the ball at the same time. Thankfully, it doinked off both their hands. Falls harmlessly to the ground for an incomplete. Brings up a 3rd and short.
Rao has 1 interception on the season. He's actually tied for the number 2 spot on this team for interceptions here early on. And they'll turn and hand that one up. Thomas with a nice fake. He'll keep this. He'll break out of a couple of tackles, and he's still running. He'll be close to that 1st down.
I think he's got it.
After it looked like he was going to be dropped for a couple of yard loss. Yeah, you know what? The coaches have talked an awful lot about this young fella, Kyle Thomas. And the one thing that they said they're working on at this moment is he still is a running quarterback first and a throwing quarterback second. So he likes to tuck that ball and take off. In this case, it almost cost him, but because of his agility and his ability to run and see the field as well as what he does, he's a tough takedown there, Jim. Tough takedown.
Absolutely. Did a great job of getting out of that first tackle. You saw him step forward and the quick jump back. That's why they do all the warm-up drills they do to ensure that they can cut on the dime like they need to.
They stretch those chains, and he's going to be short by about a length of a football. Yep.
Do you go for it here? I think you do.
I would. Yeah, I think.
Again, you're too far to
punt.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got a situation here where you probably have about a 45, 46-yard field goal attempt if you'd like to give that a try. And your field goal kicker, Fabre, is 3 for 3 this year, so maybe right before the half with 4 seconds left to go, you might march him out there and let him try one.
Well, they're going to end up having to switch sides anyway, because as soon as those sticks go to the side, the clock will start, and it'll bring an end to the first quarter. So you might as well go get a drink of water, because quarter number 1 is in the books, my friend.
Great first quarter of football for the Britons here this afternoon as they lead 21-0, and we'll get you some first quarter stats here. And it's a surprise, the Britons' stats are going to be a little more dominant than what CUW is here today. But Jimmy, why don't you take us through a little summary of that first quarter?
All right. It's all Britons so far. Kyle Thomas starts it off with an 11-yard touchdown run. 9:30 to go in quarter number 1 to make it 7-0 with the PAT. They go up 14-0 after Marlon Martin catches a 78-yard touchdown pass from Kyle Thomas with the PAT. Makes it 14-0 with 6:48 to play. And with just under 3 minutes to play in quarter number 1, Colin Poore with a 50-yard touchdown reception from Kyle Thomas with the extra point. 21-0. 8 first downs to 4, advantage Brits. Total offense 241 to 74, and 191 of that 241 is through the air, Jim. So I look for those statistics to start balancing themselves out. If the lead is going to continue to be 3 scores or more, obviously you're not going to need to take as many chances through the air. So you'll start getting naturally a little more conservative, start putting the ball on the ground a little bit more.
So the Britons will have the football, fourth down and about a foot, as Thomas lines up in the pistol with the running back to his right.
You see they're bunching for the run right here.
Thomas takes his time, fakes the handoff, goes around the end. He'll have the first down plus a couple as he crosses the 20 and gets down to the 18-yard line. And a nice job there by young Mr. Kyle Thomas to pick up the first down for the Britons.
And that has to be very frustrating for the defense. You saw they sold out what I believe they had 7 in the box. Smelling run, and they had what they felt were the edges sealed, the interior sealed, still able to sidestep and get out for the first down.
Elverson Mitchell is the running back to the left of Thomas right now, number 36. So the Britons able to use a few folks as he rolls, and he tosses a little pitch to Kitka, and
What a
Kitka
stick.
rumbles his way inside the 5-yard line before he runs into a brick wall bound down there.
Richie Guest, number 22, on a decleater. I'm not sure if he was the one who was blocked on the touchdown reception if it going the other way, but if he was, I'd say that's the receipt.
Kitka now has 2 receptions on the season, and both of them right around 11 yards for the year, so a nice job by him. He thought he had a touchdown there for a minute. Thomas drops the lefty, throws it to the corner, and this one will bounce up in the air off the hands of Kyle Winchell and will find its way down to the turf in the end zone.
Jacob Mason, 26 in the coverage. Had a step on him, but unfortunately that one hits off the mitts. Thankfully, the deflection doesn't cost the Brits right there, as they now have a second and goal with 14:04 to play in the first half, up 21-0.
Britain's doing a good job here this afternoon of being able to maintain these drives. And again, they've been pretty quick time of possessions. The fake and the throw. We got a flag out, but do we have a completion? No, the ball's dropped.
But we have a pass interference in the end zone. So instead of second and goal from the 4, it'll bring up first and goal from the 2?
I think that's Martin down there, too, that's still on the ground. And you're right. It will take this thing back down and move it in. And Martin's still rolling in the corner, and that's a young guy that you really would hate to lose. Martin now a sophomore out of Monroe, Michigan, and boy, I'll tell you.
Maybe he's got the wind knocked out of him, maybe?
Let's hope that's what we're hoping for at this point. But he looks like he's favoring one of the legs down there. I hope he didn't get a knee or an ankle rolled on that in that pile up. You can see him working down there, training staff right now, looking at that foot or that ankle area, and he looks like he's in some pain at this point.
It's also possible if it's an ankle that he might have stepped on the foot of the defender, too.
Sure.
You have 2 guys coming down at the same time. We'll see this replay one more time. See, he goes airborne first. Might have, if it's the right foot, looked like he might have stepped on, but it looked like it's his left foot he was favoring, right?
Well, he's up and he's moving, but he's favoring that foot or ankle area right at this moment.
Yeah, but you and I have watched enough college football to know as soon as we say that, well, it looks like he'll be out for a while, a couple plays later, he's sprinting back onto the field. That's the beauty of college football, is these young men are just in such tremendous shape, and they can shake off that pain.
The farther he gets to the sideline, the better he seems to be walking right now.
Yep.
Although he does still seem to be favoring that foot. So the pass interference moves the ball to the 2. Brits will have the football, first down and goal at the 2-yard line.
Still 13:59 to play, so that last play takes 5 seconds off the clock. And the Britons get a first down, trying to go up 4 scores.
Mitchell still the running back. Koski and Winchell on this side. They'll hand to Mitchell, and he'll try the interior of that line and will be close, but I think a little bit short. Britain signaling touchdown.
We have an official on the ground, and they give it a touchdown.
There you
yes,
go.
sir.
Falcons were signaling the ball went the other way as if maybe something was fumbled at the goal line, but Elverson Mitchell with his very first touchdown of his 2017 season.
You can see the one official come in, go right to the ground, right? There's one on the ground already, right in the middle of the pile. There you go.
Well,
He wants the best view in the field right there to make sure. And it's entirely possible that ball was ripped out, but as soon as it crosses the goal line, plays dead.
Extra point is perfect. And just like that, the Brits are up 28-0 here, and we're just barely into the second quarter. Down to the sideline, our buddy John. John, I'll tell you what, how's it going for the rest of the MIA around the conference right now? Any updates for us?
Yeah, I got some more scores for you. Now Alma is up over Benedictine 14-13 late in the first quarter. Meanwhile, Olivet is continuing to put the beat down on Aurora, up 17-0 early in the second quarter. And then try and finally put up a score against Wisconsin Lutheran. They are up 7-0 late in the first quarter.
There you go. Everything being played on our home fields this year, and it will all flip-flop next year the opposite way. In fact, last year I think we went to Rockford, if I remember right.
Yep.
So the Britons about ready to kick things off as we have flipped fields now as the Brits go left to right. And again, the wind really has pretty much died down to nothing.
Yep, non-factor at this point. Short kick now.
Tanet will catch this one at the 9. He'll head towards the home sideline.
Got to cut him off.
String him out and run him out of bounds right around the 26. Tanet was looking for a cutback lane, but there just was not one there available to him, with the Brit special teams doing a great job, and Tanet will step out of the field of play at the 26, and the offense now for the Falcons come back on the field to try to get something going. And Jim, it's been a tough day. As you said, only 4 first downs right now for the Falcons. 2 of them in the air, 2 of them on the ground.
Here you go, Jim. Forrest Barclay from the Twin Cities, rooting for the Brits.
There you go. Good to have all the Brits fans out there, and the Britons, I think, off sides this time, got a little bit anxious in the interior of that line.
I think they might be calling a false start. They say that's what they
there you go.
drew him off sides.
Hunter Shaw, 44, was the guy that was in a hurry there, and it was probably his man right in front of him that moved and drew him off sides as Shaw took a step before anybody else in a purple shirt. Poole again in that pistol look.
Showing blitz.
Dropping. Here comes Shaw. Ran by him, but he's got help. Shaw spun him the first time. And then up off the turf, I believe, is 45 Joe Fullerton, who actually finished him off, as you see the effort here by the defense,
They also
Jim.
get Kubit Miller, number 94, on the cleanup, too. You could really give that one to about 3 players. I don't know if you give a third of a sack. I think you only get halves, right?
Brits came in with only 1 sack so far this year, and they're starting to pick that pace up a little bit here this afternoon against the Falcons from Concordia, Wisconsin.
And again, part of that is the lack of mobility on this young quarterback, Jim.
Yeah, no doubt. The freshman really having a freshman moment here this afternoon in Albion.
How else are you going to learn, though, right?
No other way.
I mean, you can go to practice, you can, and we always talk about game speed, and watching at home. Well, what's game speed? Don't you practice at game speed? Well, it's impossible to practice at game speed because you're not practicing against the other team.
No doubt.
It's always different when it's the opposition. It's their home field, and they're really itching to get a victory.
Mirasola gets a yard on the second down play, but that sets up third down now and 21 for the Falcons. And I would think only a 3-man rush this time. Screen pass out to Mirasola. And it looked like a holding call that was not called there, but the gain will not be enough for the first down.
No.
As one of the big offensive linemen kind of got wrapped up, as you can see over here on the side, as you see the screen coming out. Here's where everybody was groaning right there.
I think that was Ben Bednardik, number 59.
He grabbed and then released. It was a catch and release situation. All you folks from Wisconsin and Michigan can understand that premise, I think. And he let go. It still sets up a 4th down and 9, and the Brits will get the football back. Poor again, back here deep at his 35-yard line.
Depends on what you catch and how hungry you are, I guess.
Mason kicks it, and boy, this left footer's got a big left leg. 30-yard line's where Poor grabs it. He makes the first guy miss. Nice little juke step, and he's out at the 45, but we do have Laundry on the football field at the 42.
Got a block in the back. That was Zach Fountain, number 23, who hit the deck hard. Didn't see who blocked him in the back, but with that flag down at about the 42, 43-yard line, that'll march him back, and the Brits will start right around the 32, give or take.
So the Britons offense has been dominant here so far early. Yeah, don't have him turn his mic on this time, so we didn't get a chance to get the. Yeah,
I don't
maybe
think
he's going
that's
to
us
now.
either, yeah.
Here he comes. I think he's going to turn it on now, maybe. Yep. That was an initial call.
On the return,
Here we go.
block in the back, 39 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, Albion, first down.
Well, in an afternoon where you're up 28-0 here in the second quarter, getting your name in the program is just getting your name in the program. That won't go over well with your coach, I guarantee you. But at the same time, Mom and Dad got to hear your number called on the Britain Sports Network this afternoon.
Quentin Jackson, 39 on the block right there, the strong safety playing special teams.
Thomas turns and hands to his running back.
Oh, my goodness.
That's Servo. He's got a wide open lane to midfield, and he'll be in the Falcons' territory at the 48-yard line.
Now, let me ask you this question in all seriousness, Jim. We heard Coach's comments, and you were given kind of an update to me about the thoughts about the speed of the running backs. Well, if you're Zach Serzo, how do you feel about hearing that?
Yeah, I think
you go out and you run with a little more purpose today, I think.
Here he goes again. Same play, straight up the middle, down to the 37-yard line. And, yeah, Zach Serzo is really starting to flex his muscles. And that offensive line, though, doing a real nice job and open up a couple holes for him to skip through, though, Jim, as well.
It's always easy to talk about the skilled players, but that O-line is what gives the quarterback time and the running back lanes.
Thomas drops. He's going to throw this one across the middle. He's got Koski. 5, spins 3, and it'll be first down and goal for the Britons as Koski got behind everybody.
And if it wasn't for Dawson Ziegler, number 19, didn't buy the spin move at the end here. Watch, he kind of runs in from the side, just happens to get a shoulder on the leg as he's spinning right there. Split second sooner, and he's in the house.
Zarnecki now in the backfield. Let's see if Patrick can get his first touchdown as a Briton as he lines up in that backfield spot just to the left of Thomas. They will hand him the ball. He has some room. He lowers his head, and he's in the end zone. Just like that, a 2-yard run for Pat Zarnecki. And the Brits are 34-0 over the Falcons. Well, I'll tell you what, oftentimes coaches use a lot of different things for motivation. And when they tell your running backs that you're not moving too quick and you're not all that good and this and that and the other, and we got a kid over here whose big brother did a pretty good job for us a couple of years ago, maybe we need to insert him in this backfield even though he's playing really well on the defensive side of the ball. All of a sudden, things start to work a little better. The extra point is good. Aubrey's only missed one this year so far, and that one really was a kind of a bad snap and a block. He's perfect for field goals at 3-3, and he's only missed one extra point, and the Brits now have converted 5 times this afternoon for 35 points, and they're on top 35-0.
Jim, the Britain volleyball team serves up a home match against MIAA rival St. Mary's College this coming Tuesday, September 19th. First service set for 7 p.m. inside Kresge Gymnasium. And as a reminder, you can visit GoBrits.com for the recap of today's contest involving Britain teams. In addition, you are invited to follow the Britons via Twitter at twitter.com/GoBrits.
That pass to Poor was officially labeled as a 50-yarder. And with that now, the Brits have 334 total yards of offense.
240 through the air.
On 24 plays.
And again, I keep saying that we're going to find that balance between pass and rush, but then their passes end up getting them 40, 50 yards at a time. So shoots that theory in the foot, doesn't it?
Tanet again will bring this football out to the 28-yard line before he's knocked down. And the young fellow that got called for the penalty a little while ago, Quentin Jackson
just
makes
made
the
the
tackle.
stop. There you go. So, Mom and Dad, if you're watching, we had to say the name on the penalty right there, but that's a nice redemption story. Great stop on special teams. And that's also, Jim, we talked about the breakaway speed of Isaiah Tanet for Concordia, Wisconsin. A lot of that offense and special teams is all running through him. You got to think at some point, your body just starts to take a toll.
Poole in bad shape. Dalton Poole loses the football, but one of his big uns gets on it on the grass.
Tyler Martinkus right there on the recovery. Otherwise, that would have spelled almost game over right there.
If this game's not over already, but a nice job there by the Brits to get in and cause some havoc back there. I believe that was Malik Bozell that made the hit that caused the ball to come loose. And waiting there on it was Wickens, but he couldn't get on it because the big fellow from Wisconsin got to it a little quicker. That's Coy with the catch. And he'll be across the 30 to about the 32-yard line, so it'll set up a third down at about 5. Well, you don't know, again, how solid this team is, especially when you take 2 of their better players away.
Yep.
You know, I was really looking forward to seeing Josh Turner this afternoon play some football, and Aaron Nixon. I mean, Nixon had a quarterback rating of 140.9, okay? I mean, he was
Pretty good.
yeah, I was looking
among the
forward
best.
to watching him play this afternoon. Instead, it's good to see this young fellow right now who's running for his life get his first opportunity as he gets knocked out of bounds over by his bench, and he will be short of the first down. But again, Dalton Poole, the freshman out of Kewaskin, Wisconsin.
They're saying he stepped out of bounds way back at the 30.
There you go. He'll lose a couple of yards. It'll set
Yeah.
fourth down now and 8.
But you got to say, you know, even though they didn't pick up that first down, that 3-and-out right there, definitely not the best sequence Concordia, Wisconsin has had today. But a scramble like that, putting your shoulder down, knowing you're going to take the hit, that'll earn the respect of your offensive line. So you see if that might pay dividends a little later.
Poore will stand at his 24-yard line waiting on this kick. And I guess if there's one ray of hope here this afternoon, it has been Jacob Mason. He has been averaging on the season about 34 yards a kick.
Young
I
man
had a
has
long of 58, but boy, today he's
has
got
a
to
leg
be
on him.
over that by quite a few. He's been hitting it pretty hard. Poore brings it up the field, gets through that first wave and out to the 45-yard line. And it's first down and 10 for the Britons.
Tremendous starting field position once again for Albion College. As with 8:21 to play in the first half, they lead 35-0 here on the Britain Sports Network.
The other side that you're going to wonder about, Jim, as we get a little deeper into this game is when, as a coach, do you start to pull that second unit in and allow second teamers to get on the football field and play a little bit? I would expect that the first unit will play at least this first half. You can see right now Martin laying down here on the training table right in front of us with a towel over his head and the ice on his lower portion of his leg. Whether it's an ankle or a foot, we're not really sure. But it looks like his day is done this afternoon. Fake handoff. Koski looked like he almost picked it up off the bounce, but he got it, and he's up the sideline and into Falcons territory before he steps out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. So give him almost 10 on the catch. In fact, they'll give him 10 exactly on the catch. They'll move the sticks, and it'll be first down and 10 now. Brits in Falcon territory. Young team, this Falcon team, too, as well. When you take a look at the roster, there are a number of freshmen playing football this afternoon for them as the Brits stack doubles on both sides right now. Thomas will drop. The lefty looks to throw. Runs out of the pocket. Now he fires into the middle of the field. That's Koski again. Koski gets away from the first tackler, but he'll be stopped at the 25-yard line.
Find that soft spot in the zone and sat down, as they say.
John Rao, the young man who made the tackle, Rao, basically one of their better defenders, a junior, 5'10", $185 out of Slinger, Wisconsin, Jim. Love that name. Thomas again to throw across the middle again, and this one's on the
Catch
money,
that?
but I don't think he got it. Nope.
Yep. Just hopped.
Nice try, good effort, and not quite there. As the Britons will set it up again, second down now and 10.
All Britons so far, 7:32 to play first half, up 35-0 and on the move.
Britons fake the handoff. Thomas calls his own number right up the middle of the football field. He's still on his feet at the 10 and inside to the 9. And we're going to have to do some looking and some digging here for some numbers pretty soon. 83 for the Brits right now, Jim. We got a new wide receiver that I don't have a list on
83
anybody.
is Tyler Sykes,
There you go.
senior.
So Sykes, the intended receiver 2 plays ago, he's wide to the visitor's side right at this point in time as the Brits go with 4 wide receivers. Kitka's the guy in the slot on this side, along with Koski, and they'll turn and hand the football off. And I believe we got another touchdown.
Yes,
Zach
sir.
Servo just churns his way towards that end zone, and just like that, Brits running game looks like it's doing just fine today, Jim.
Watch the determination. This isn't speed so much as it is power. Wrapped up about the 5-yard line, was able to drag a Concordia, Wisconsin defender the 5 yards, kept the legs moving. Good things will always happen as a running back if you protect the ball and keep those legs driving.
So the Brits have 6:59 left on the first half clock, and they're up 41-0 with the extra point on its way, and it is good. Just like that, it's 42-0. And again, my question comes back to you, Jimmy. When do you start? You're already starting to see some people being subbed in. When is basically Thomas's day done for the afternoon? When will you think you start to see maybe a Sam Blanzy in off the sideline and just like that?
I was going to say start the third quarter, but the pace at which this game is going and the fact that Concordia, Wisconsin has had a lot of 3-and-outs would lead me to believe that. And you see the quarterback warming up down here on the near side right by John. Might see the hook early today.
John, you seeing Sam Blanzy down there warming up right in front of you, buddy?
Yep, I see him.
Looks like he's probably on his way into the ball game, I would think, pretty soon, huh?
I'd say so. He got his helmet on, looking ready to go, looking sharp.
It's been a good afternoon for the Britons. Any updates on the scores around the conference that would make somebody go, uh-huh?
Oh, yeah, sure. MIAA right now is dominating non-conference. Alma is up 21-13 over Benedictine in the second quarter. Meanwhile, Olivet is continuing to blank Aurora, 17-0, also late in the second. Trine up 14-0 at the start of the second over Wisconsin Lutheran. And the game at 1:30 today, the Hope against Lakeland. Hope is up 6-0 early in the first quarter.
There you go. So Toonette brought the ball out, but the more he runs, the less he is able to get there, Jimmy, as he will be stopped at the 20 here with this effort, and will be first down and 10 now for Concordia at their 20-yard line.
And again, I think you're starting to see the totality. He's your primary guy in special teams. He's your biggest weapon on offense. He's pretty much doing everything out there. And at some point, you're down 6 scores. You just, oof.
Yeah.
it makes it hard.
Handoff goes to Jordan Edwards, and Edwards is out of Mont Prospect, Illinois, and we have a offensive lineman down on the ground right now. Edwards really with about 3 on that opening carry.
And that was left hand, left wrist. Looked like he was shaking there. Right guard spot for Concordia, Wisconsin.
So if things haven't gone poorly enough for them already, and not having their starting quarterback and their starting halfback, now they lose their starting guard, at least for a short period of time.
Well, I think he stayed in, but he's definitely favoring
shaking
that
it
left
off,
hand.
and
Yeah.
he's just a tough guy, man. That's the way that we are. Poole throws the ball up the sideline, and we're going to get some interference on the Brits. A little bit anxious there, Richard Ennerott. Kind of cut him off, didn't give him an opportunity to catch that ball. Ryan Wagner was the intended receiver.
Got him early.
Thrown pretty well.
Yep. Got him early, and you can see also didn't turn around and make a play on the ball. Those two things added, making an easy call for the officials. Get a pass interference and a first down for Concordia, Wisconsin.
Pass interference. Defense, number 1. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So an automatic 15 yards and a first down here for the Falcons will move this football about as deep as it's been for a while by the Falcons offense, as they'll have the ball at their own 38-yard line, first down and 10.
It's only I believe their 5th first down of the game. 20 first downs for Albion, Jim.
Brits have really had things in gear this afternoon. It's been fun to watch. Obviously, you are happy to see this team start to click on all the cylinders, as Poole will keep it himself, and he will pay for it, as Joe Fullerton gives him a good right shoulder there to the kidney pads there for a pickup of just about a yard.
It's a combination of 2 different factors. Wide receivers not getting separation from the corners for Albion, but also sometimes you just have to put that ball in a spot as a quarterback, and you have to develop that trust and connection. And if it's your first game, you haven't had time to build that yet.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. And the Brits, again, as we have heard this year. Oh, Rayshawn thought he had one right there. Rayshawn Robinson saw it coming, hit him in the hands, and boy, if he'd have caught that one, there was nobody between him and the end zone.
Nope.
Just see the replay here. Look at him. He saw this one all the way.
Yeah, he's on the dead run. They even tried a pick play right there. You saw the one wide receiver kind of come in motion at the end and try to block, which would have been interesting. That could have easily have been called an offensive pass interference if he'd made contact.
British Eights will be performing here at halftime, and we're going to allow them to do their thing and let you enjoy it here today.
False start, 77, offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat, third down.
And I believe 77 for Concordia, Wisconsin was the young man whose left wrist was injured earlier. That would be Tyler Richards, the senior.
5:22, the clock is moving right now here in Albion.
Pinning their ears back, Jim.
So is the quarterback, and all of a sudden the Brits, who have not been able to rush the passer, are having a great afternoon. Sean Kubit-Miller, the very first guy there, and I think that's about 3 for him this afternoon. We'll have to look at some individual stats here at the half, but Kubit-Miller has ratcheted up the pressure this afternoon, and the Brits' defensive front have been in the offensive backfield almost as much as the running backs here this afternoon.
Huge loss on that play, brings up a 4th and 20. And I believe dips Concordia, Wisconsin back under 100 yards of total offense.
Poor waiting on the kick from Mason. And again, Mason hits a big high kick, and Poor this time will wave for the fair catch.
Got to cover that one, yep.
And he'll have to cover it back onto the 25-yard line as that one got away from him just a little bit. Again, the wind's starting to pick up just a little bit.
Now blowing away from us a little bit, looks like.
Yeah, it changed just a bit, so it's probably swirling just a little on the field right now. And the Brits will have the football, first down and 10. And are we changing quarterbacks? Look, Martin trying to put some pressure on that.
That's what I was watching, yeah.
Yeah, on that one leg.
He's going out to, you got to put some weight on it at some point.
Yeah.
Easy for me to say. I'm standing up here with, thankfully, 2 uninjured ankles, but, still, the longer you sit, the more likely it is to swell.
Well, the neat news about this whole thing, not that you want any of your guys hurt, and we got to...
Saying that was incidental foot contact. That's a generous call right there.
Josh Hess was the intended receiver who got tackled at about the 35-yard line. But the point I was about to make, the entire conference except for Adrian is on a bye next week. Adrian goes to Wisconsin Stevens Point. Everybody else takes the week off, so Martin will at least have 2 weeks to be able to get ready then when we go to Adrian, and that will be our next game here on the Britain Sports Network. This one thrown to Poor in the middle, and it's knocked away at the very last second. Ball thrown pretty well, but a good job by the defender, Richie Guess.
I want to say hi to Connie and Denny Wright watching from Ludington, Michigan. They are the grandparents of number 3, the freshman free safety, Jared Collins, for the Brits.
Very good. Great having all of you out there here this afternoon. And again, please let us know. Jimmy, what's the easiest way for them to contact us here on a Saturday afternoon?
Webcast at albion.edu. Let us know who you are, where you're watching, and if you're a family member, let us know that too. We'll give you a shout out.
Plug it in and let us know that you're up on the stream here tonight and watching that ball game as Hess gets another opportunity and he makes the most of this one. He'll be close to that first down. He's out to the 35-yard line.
Be about a yard short. You need to gain the 36 for the first down to mark it just shy of the 35, nose of the ball. With 4 minutes and counting to play in the first half, Britain's up 42-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sam Blanzy will get an opportunity to come in, but it's going to be to punt this time, which is a rare occurrence here this afternoon for the Britons. Tannett will wait for the kick at the 35-yard line. High snap, but Blanzy goes up and gets it. Nice high spiraling kick. It'll go away from Tannett. Will take one hop and jump out of bounds inside 26. The 30-yard line.
27, yep.
So it'll be first down and 10 Falcons with 3:33 to play here in the first half.
Concordia, Wisconsin, Dalton Poole, 7 of 11 for 73 yards through the air. Mirasola, 7 carries for 22 yards, the leading rusher. Dalton Poole, 7 carries for negative 20 yards so far, Jimbo. So his season stats have been a little skewed going the opposite direction right there.
Well, for a guy who came in with 2 rushes on the season, at least he's getting a little playing time today, Jim. That's, I guess, all we can say.
Like we said, how else are you going to learn?
Ball's on the ground. I think the Brits are on top of it as there was a little mix-up between the running back and the quarterback. Ball trying to get into the belly there of 31, Nick Mirasola. Mirasola didn't have the ball, and it was at his feet, and the Brits right there on the recovery. As we take a look, maybe we can pick the number out here. There it is right there.
You get the better vantage point and monitor being a little
I think
closer to you.
Malik Bazell was the young man that picked up the football, and the turnover gives the Britons the football again deep. And just like that, Blanzy will check in to the backfield for his first opportunity of the afternoon. And the Brits with 3:29 to play here in the opening half, starting to change some horses here real quick. Freeman with the football. He'll sweep left side, makes the first guy miss with the stiff arm, and crosses the 25 to the 24-yard line. So give him about 3 on the carry, almost 4.
Let's see if the Britons continue to run that hurry-up, no-huddle offense, or if they slow it down just a touch. Looks like they're going to continue to run a pretty fast pace. I guess your offense is your offense. You are who you are.
They'll hand again to Freeman, and Freeman will try the center of the line this time for short yardage, maybe a yard, possibly 2. It'll set up a 3rd down now, and about 5 for the Britons.
Justin Dunlap, 54 on the stop right there.
Well, at 42-0, again, as you said, Jim, your offense is your offense, but you at least probably would be happy to get to the half. If you're going to maybe attempt a field goal here, maybe another touchdown is always good. They'll go to Freeman for a 3rd time, and this time the gain is even shorter than the first 2. And with that, we'll get an opportunity for a field goal try.
Might as well. It's definitely within range. You're looking at about a 40 to 41-yard kick into a little bit of breeze, but not much.
Well, the good news with this one this afternoon is the Brits now are going to have the second half to really get some guys in, get some Saturday afternoon playing time at full speed against some decent competition. As Fabry lines up for a 39-yarder, and it is right through the upright. So he is 4 for 4 now on the season, and the Britons now at 45-0 with just under 2 minutes to play here in the first half, and John's down on the sideline. John, there's probably a couple other games that are heading towards halftime. What are the scores we're seeing around the league right now?
Yeah, not much has changed with the Alma and Olivet game, but Trine is now up 21-0 over Wisconsin Lutheran about halfway through the second. And now Hope is down to Lakeland 9-6, very early in the first quarter.
There you go. Everything going the Brits' way this afternoon, and pretty much everything going our way throughout the conference here this afternoon as well, Jim, as we're holding our own with the boys from Wisconsin and Illinois this afternoon.
Definitely liking the way that scoreboard looks. The big numbers up for the good guys.
So the Brits will kick things off, and I think we've changed horses back there. I don't see Tonette on the other side now. We've got a new guy that's going to field this one at the 5, and we'll bring it up to the 15 to the 20. Tonette probably just needed a breather at this point after all of the returns he's had. I think that was Rao that brought it up. But we'll check that number. But the Falcons will get the opportunity to have the opportunity to play one more time with some decent field position here at the 26-yard line. And that's not the greatest field position, but compared to where they have started here quite a bit of this first half, this is about as good as what it has been. Man, I love the way that you sprint up that sideline, man.
I feel pretty good. I feel pretty conditioned. That's why I told Coach I don't have to do anymore.
Well, that's you got Jim and my cardio for us today, John. John Bolello made our sideline reporter, came running up the steps, and I don't know about you, Jim, but my Fitbit just went up by about 1,400 steps right there. How's that, huh?
Exercised vicariously through him today.
Well, that's kind of the way that I always exercise, is vicariously through somebody. So
we're watching a show on TV.
And it was good that you got my heart rate up really good, John, that time by running up those steps for me. I appreciate it. I feel a lot better.
Nick Mirasola's Aunt and Uncle Pat and Lynn watching from Scottsdale, Arizona. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Britain Sports Network.
Second down and a couple here for the Falcons, and they'll turn and hand that ball to Jordan Edwards again, and Edwards will be wrestled down after a pickup of a yard or so. Nice job by the Brits interior. Bazell was the first guy that was there on the tackle. And the 2-yard pickup sets up a 3rd down now and short for the Falcons. And you know what, Jim, it's tough to say, but they've not even had many of these today where it's been 3rd down and short. They've looked at an awful lot of 3rd down and 13, 3rd down and 22. There's been pretty much a difficult 3rd down situation. This time they'll get it, as again they'll go back to Jordan Edwards, and Edwards will get around that right end for a couple of yards.
And I'm looking at the clock with the score being the way it is, and I'm thinking once you pick up that 1st down, you got to take a shot.
Yeah, you would think you would want to try to get some points on the board. The Britons will get the football as they deferred to the second half. So we will open the ball in the third quarter, with the ball in the third quarter, I should say, and a procedure call.
Run the ball again there, which surprises me a little bit. I think you got to at least take a shot and give your receivers a chance.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Well, and it'd be interesting to look at the stats at halftime, Jim, because so far to the season, they are almost 50-50 run and pass as far as the total yardage on the season. And today, obviously missing their starting quarterback and missing their starting running back, they have gone relatively exclusively to the run game today. And this draw play will probably take us to the end of the half and get us almost nothing in yardage. And with that, the half will end. And the Britons just basically had their way with Concordia of Wisconsin in the opening half. They're up 45-0 as everybody heads to the locker room here. And I'll tell you what, it's been an exciting first half, Jim, for the Brits. It's good to see them being able to crank this offense up the way that they have. We have worried about them just a little bit in the first couple games, but today it seems like everything is on track and everything is ready to go. And with that, the British Eights are starting to line themselves up along the side of the football field, and they're about ready to go out and entertain the crowd, and we're going to allow them to entertain you as well this afternoon, as we will step away here in just a minute and turn all of the entertainment at halftime over to them as Jimmy gets his abacus out and starts to work on all the stats. And when we come back, we will update you as to what is going on in this ball game and also where all the other conference games are at their halftime intermission as well. And so far, the MIAA has done a very nice job of holding their serve on this Saturday afternoon with a couple of more games coming up. But the NACC MIAA Challenge so far for 2017 is very lopsided towards the folks from Michigan. So with that, why don't we turn it over to the Eights? I think they're just about ready to go. And in fact, here's Maury Ditzler real quick. Maybe we can chat with Maury for just a minute, and then we'll turn it over to the Eights in a second. So, Maury, I'll tell you what, this has been a pretty decent afternoon for the guys in purple and gold.
Yeah, you know, we've looked good out there. Kyle's hitting his receivers. They've got a lot of speed out there. I think our receivers have been able to outrun their defensive backs a little bit, but it's part of it's because Kyle's hitting them right in the hands.
Yes.
And they're really taking off, and the running game has opened up that passing game too.
You know, Coach said a little bit before the game that he felt like they were very close. It was just a matter of, you know, Kyle getting the feel for a few things, not seeing everything, being a freshman, and it looks like today maybe that's starting to slow down for him just a little bit.
You know, I think it is. And the line's giving him good protection and opening some holes for the backs. And, you know, lots of people look good. Doesn't Anthem look good on those extra points?
Yes.
They're booming right down the middle. Some good kickoffs. Great to see him getting a touchback and getting one that has to stop inside the 20-yard line. That bodes well going forward. And then nice long field goal. I didn't have the stats, but my guess is that close to a 40-yard field goal.
That was 39 yards. You had it just right on the money. Yes, sir.
And it looked like it had a few extra yards if it needed to.
It really did. He is now 4 for 4 on the season so far. So he's having a whale of a year, and the team now before the bye week next week looks like we're starting to right the ship and get things ready as we get ready for conference play.
And you know, there's some good players on that Concordia team as well. The young men from Wisconsin came to play hard. They wrap up in the tackles. They don't give up. They knock people down, and they run through the tackles when they're running back. So they're playing hard. I don't think the outcome of the game is in doubt, but they could score some points in the second half if we're not careful.
They really could.
And don't they have a marvelous punter?
Yeah, they do. Oh my goodness, that Mason get a left footer. I'd hate to try to catch that one.
Oh, and it goes a long way into the wind. Long way. Samuel's only got a chance to punt one. His looked pretty good too.
It really did. Tell me a little bit about what's going on around the college since we saw you last week. Anything new at Albion College this week?
Oh, there's always something new. This Parents Weekend. It's so fun to see parents and meet them from all over the country. Met a family early this morning that said they got up at 3 o'clock in the morning to drive in and be at Parents Weekend at 8:30. I'm not sure if they got up at 3 o'clock to have coffee with me or to see their son. I suspect that was what it was about. Talked to a family that got on an airplane last night in Portland, Oregon to be at Parents Weekend at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's fun to have young people coming from around the country excited about what's happening at Albion. And some of them have been here only a couple of weeks, but when I talk to them and their parents present, they seem to be having a great time.
Yeah, they really do. Who do you have in the box with you today? Anybody that is of note that we should be talking about?
Well, we got some faculty here. We got trustee Joe Calvarus and his wife, and what's fun, I'm really first time I've spent any time with our equestrian coach that does the Western program, Nathan Horseman. Right, got the perfect name for the equestrian coach. Yeah, he's sitting down there with a big black cowboy hat. No doubt, who's the equestrian coach. That program looks strong this year as well.
I'll tell you what, it has been so much fun to be part of Albion College. We appreciate the opportunity to come and do this. And today we've started to take feedback from around the country. Last week we had an awful lot of folks from the opposition. Today they're all Brits fans that are coming back and shouting out to their sons and grandsons and even in some cases members of the eights at this point in time. So we're having a lot of fun this afternoon, and so are they.
Later this afternoon I have to slip away for a half hour from the game to do a ribbon cutting on a trail. There's 3 national trails, or 2 statewide and 1 national trail come through Albion. One of them runs from New York to North Dakota, and the Iron Bell Trail runs all around Michigan, and the Lake to Lake Trail goes across the state. Those trails all merge and come through Albion together. We've just finished the piece that starts at Victory Park, goes out through our Equestrian Center, winds its way back over to M99. It's a beautiful section of trail. The city had a big part of that. We helped out a little bit, so I get to go over and cut a ribbon. So I'm glad we got a few touchdowns, so I don't have to worry about what's going to happen in the game while I'm gone.
No doubt about that. We get a week off next week, but I'm sure you don't get a week off from your education process around here. What's on the horizon for all the students and the faculty here at Albion in the next week or two?
This is the time at which the students have kind of got their college legs underneath them. They're the first couple of weeks, some of the first year students wonder if they can get this done or not, and now they're confident. They got to know their professors. They've got to know their classmates. They're working hard on those first papers, those first exams. We'll see a lot of sleepy eyes around campus as students discover that the library is open at 2 o'clock in the morning and they do study late. So, for those of us who taught for a long time and have been around colleges, this first round of exams is an exciting time. It's exciting for our 565 new students that are out there.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
What a wonderful freshman class that you have coming in here, Maury. You've got to be proud of them.
I am, and we've got a faculty member in his 50th year of teaching, and he says it's the most exciting first-year class that he's seen at Albion.
That's wonderful. Well, what do you expect in the second half before we let you get on with your business?
I think we'll see a couple of quarterbacks. There's some really solid quarterbacks on the team. It's good that they have some experience. You never know when they're called on to get through us a quarter when the starter is shaking off a hard hit or something. So I think we might see Sam for another series or two, and then I think we'll see some other quarterbacks. I suspect our running backs are going to get a lot of time. We'll run some time by keeping a running game and make sure that we keep Concordia off the field, because they look to be often just a play away from breaking free. So I'd be perfectly happy if they only get back on the field 4 or 5 more times in the second half.
We would too. With that, we'll let you go. Thank you for your time as always at halftime today, and go Brits this afternoon, huh?
Thank you for your good work.
And with that, we'll head down to the field for the last couple of selections here from the British Eights as we're at halftime, and the Brits are up 45-0 on the Brits Sports Network.
Parents of the Concordia fans who are watching our feed. Library guy. Thank you. Mike, how you doing?
Nancy fun halftime show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet for the greatest fight song in the FIAA. This famous song. Very different. Terrible song. Nevertheless, keep standing because here indeed is the greatest fight song in the MIAA. Fight on!
We are cleaning up the grounds. There's many gravestones that are tipped over or cracked or buried under years of debris. So we've been picking up sticks and pulling weeds, making it look a lot cleaner, as well as uncovering some graves that probably haven't been seen for 50 years or so. So it's been really emotional experience to be able to see some of these graves that haven't been seen in so long, and hopefully get them seen again by family or just anybody passing through.
We can't go back and stop the Holocaust from happening, but we can try and fight against the lasting effects of it and trying to make sure that these people are remembered and they're cared for, because their families are, some of them may not be around anymore to take care of these graves. So it's very important that just because someone did something awful, that we will not allow that to continue to have an impact on these people.
Even though this is something very small, we're undoing some of the hate and fighting against hate and anti-Semitism that was like why this was destroyed.
It gives us a chance to honor those who were affected by the Holocaust. A lot of these people actually died before the Holocaust, and their families may not be able or never got the chance to be able to come here and care for their graves. And a lot of the destruction that happened, it's giving us students a chance to fight against the acts of the Holocaust, and I think that's the most important part.
I became interested in this program because it seemed like a great opportunity. I know a couple of students who were in my sorority who had talked about this program, and whenever they talked about it, they said it was by far their favorite experience at Albion and wanted to try it out.
I think that this program is just completely incredible, and its ability to try and reshape people's minds and show people the human side of the Holocaust and see that that while we're not dealing with actual victims here, we're dealing with people that lost the ability to have someone to care for them because of the Holocaust. And the ability to do something against hate and prejudice, to make sure that these people are not lost to the sands of time, is something I think that is really inspiring and something that more people should do.
Cody Davis, David Dorado, Brian Griffiths, Adam Jarvis, Paul Lewis, and the first-year players, Jacob Arcano, Alex Boucher, Nicholas Newman, Antonio Cozy, Brent Matthews, Zachary Marvin, Brandon Matthews, Trevor McManus, Alec Palmer, Chase Palmer, Evan Surink, Scott Shepard, Jacob Swift, Scott Wissinghausen, and McGregor Price. Ladies and gentlemen, the three-time MIAA champion Albion men's lacrosse team.
I guess I just assumed that like college classes would be pretty identical to high school classes, so like you would just have to be able to just show up every day and just do your work, and then like you'd be well off. And it ended up being that way. Like if you show up to class every day and you do your work, you'd be like well off. I guess I must assume that like also if you don't show up that you can still be on good terms, but like it doesn't work like that.
I came from a high school where, I had pretty tough classes, but, it's college, so things are a step up. And I was kind of worried, but once I kind of got acclimated to the environment, it was pretty easy and pretty fun, but, there are still challenging times. It's about time management and just kind of getting it done.
I think the best part about the written prep was definitely having a mentor there to help me, because she was the same major as I am right now, so she's taken all the classes that I was taking at that time.
The biggest advantage most definitely would have to be the structure. Because I played sports, I was able to I had to find a way to organize my time. And the Britain Path gave me pretty much a schedule on how to keep everything organized. And without that organization, I probably wouldn't have been able to get through my first couple of semesters.
It's real easy to get lost your freshman year here, especially with all the workload that comes with it. The biggest advantage was having a tutor. He really helped me kind of sit down and map out my first semester and allowed me to, be successful at the things that I was doing.
I don't think I would have made it through first semester without the Britain Path.
Quite honestly, I would not be where I am today without the Britain Path program.
So Britain Path definitely was something that I'm glad I did. Definitely something that has helped me get to where I am in the college right now. I'm doing very well in my classes. In my professional career, I definitely believe that it will help. It's just something that builds upon itself.
Being in the Britain Path definitely helped me make time management skills through going to classes, practice, and having time to study in the end for my classes so I could pass.
I never made an agenda before college, and the Britain Path program taught me how to make an agenda and how to follow that to the T. So that honestly is what made me successful in college.
Back out at Sprankle-Sprandel Stadium, Jim Bellamy giving you the halftime statistics. It is 45-0 Britons as we get ready to start the second half. Scoring goes like this. Kyle Thomas with an 11-yard run, and the extra point makes it 7-0. And scoring continues with two more touchdowns on the board in the first quarter. Marlon Martin with a 78-yard reception from Thomas makes it 13-0, and the extra point puts up 14. Thomas then hits Colin Poor for a 50-yard touchdown with 2:53 to play in the first quarter. Extra point makes it 21-0. Early in the second quarter, in fact, 13:53 to play right after the start of the second quarter, Elverson Mitchell goes for 2 yards in, and the extra point makes it 28-0. Zarnecki gets a 2-yard touchdown run. Zach Serzo gets a 9-yard touchdown run, and then Andrew Fabry takes care of the rest of the scoring in the first half with a 39-yard field goal with just under 2 minutes to play. Give you halftime score 45-0. The team statistics certainly bear that score out. 20 first downs to 6, advantage Albion. 280 yards through the air, and looking for the rushing yards here. 123 yards on the ground for 403 as a total. Only 94 total yards for Concordia, Wisconsin. 73 through the air, 21 on the ground. Time of possession also. Surprisingly, Concordia, Wisconsin has had the ball more, 1850 to 1020. However, you look at the productivity of those drives, and you say, okay, you've only had the ball for about 10 minutes and change, but you put up a whole lot of points. So that part definitely is a plus to the Britons from Albion. Individual statistics, Kyle Thomas in the first half, 11 for 15, 271 and 2 touchdowns. Blanzy came on in relief, and we'll probably see him, as President Ditzler said, a little bit more into the second half. 1 of 3 for 9 yards in that first half. Leading rusher Zach Surzo, 4 carries for 53 yards and a touch. Kyle Thomas, 5 for 45 and a touch. Through the air, Colin Poore, 3 catches for 68 yards. Marlon Martin, the 1 catch for 78. Sean Koski, your leading receiver, 5 catches for 95 yards. For Concordia, Wisconsin, Dalton Poole goes the entire first half, 7 for 11 for 73 yards. However, on the ground, he is 8 carries for a negative 20. Definitely has had a tough first go here. Nick Mirasola, one of the only players in positive yardage for Concordia, Wisconsin, 7 carries for 22 yards. Through the air, 2 players with 2 receptions apiece. Isaiah Tennett, 2 for 6. He's primarily your special teams guy, and you have to take your hat off to the Britons, Jim. They've done an excellent job of bottling him up. Jake Rippertella, 2 catches for 24 yards. Not a whole lot of offense, though, for Concordia, Wisconsin as we begin this second half.
No doubt about that, Jimmy, and the Brits will have the football to start everything off, and this kick will go through the end zone and will be Britons football, first down and 10 at the 25-yard line as we open up quarter number 3. And I would think, Coach, that President Ditzler probably pretty much got this thing on the nut, I would think, in the second half. I would bet you'll see a lot more running than passing as the afternoon goes on here. Jim, but you never can tell. Again, your offense is your offense. You don't get as many reps as you would like oftentimes for your backup quarterback, but Thomas will start the second half as the signal caller for the Brits, as we'll see how long Kyle will stay in there, and he will throw right away on first down, obviously, to Josh Hess, and Hess will be up the football field across the 35 to about the 36-yard line for a first down.
Well, you said your offense is your offense.
Yep.
Want to say hi to Dick Swain from Indianapolis watching, class of 61. Go Brits. Thank you so much for tuning in, Mr. Swain. Also, Sue Schaefer, parents of Eddie Schaefer, the athletic trainer, watching from Edwardsville, Illinois. Go Brits.
And it's good to have all of you with us right here as he fires again to the opposite sideline. And this one is Colin Poore who catches that one, and he will step out of bounds at around the 40-yard line. Call him out at the 39, so give him 4 yards and set up a second down right now, and about 6 as the clock keeps moving.
Chris and Deanna Schoen watching from Glenwood City, Wisconsin. They are rooting on their nephew Dalton Poole from Concordia, Jimbo.
And I'll tell you what, we have a great deal of respect and empathy for your nephew this afternoon in a very tough environment this afternoon. The young fellow's really done a pretty good job, and he's got good days coming ahead of him and better days coming, I'm sure, as the years go on. So glad you're out there watching, and I'm sure that this is not going to be his last day engineering this Falcons football team as his career goes on at Concordia.
Like you said, a couple weeks prep for the next game.
Thomas goes around the corner, and he has a bunch of running room. He'll slide down just into Falcon territory, but there is laundry in the backfield of the Britons, and this one's coming back.
That penalty flag marked at about the 34-yard line, so a couple yards behind the original line of scrimmage.
I'll tell you what, there better be a lot of money in that 50-50 drawing today, because you're going to need it for medical bills all the way down that direction. A few more steps yet after all the steps here. And nobody that has made the steps here at the football field, you will not appreciate. One side has some double steps, Jimmy, and the side that she just came up, our 50-50 winner, came up the big steps, as we call them here. I don't ever try the big steps. I try the smaller steps most of the time I come up.
Well, the good news is it's the same distance.
It is the same distance. You're just covering them twice as quickly. And that is when you're using the small steps for me. This one's a little high, and it's going to be picked off out around the 45-yard line, and I think out of bounds with the football will be the Falcons, and nice job on the interception. You just see this ball just basically being overthrown by Thomas as he lets fly.
Uncharacteristic mistake today by Thomas. He's played a pretty clean game, but in this case, badly overthrew his receiver right there along the Concordia sideline.
And I believe that was 46 Damon Mull that pulled that one in for the Falcons, but we'll figure that out here in a minute. Doubles now to the top and the bottom, the fake on first down and the throw, and that goes to Turnett. And Turnett has a nice pickup as he'll get a first down into Britt's territory. Yeah, in fact, they're going to say he slid just a little early, so he'll pick up 9 instead of 10. It'll be second down and short for the Falcons. And you got to believe that Isaiah Turnett probably had to take a little nap at halftime after all the work they put him through in the first half.
Yep.
As he's lined up in the slot on the visitor's sideline. Busher's in the slot on this side, then 2 wide receivers on both ends. Here comes the rush and the throw. Across the middle of the football field, it was intended for Nick Mirasola, and Mirasola basically well covered right up the center of that football field by Khalil Banks for the Britons, and the incompletion will set up a third down now and 1. As the clock will stop with 13:20 to play, and we have a Falcon on the ground back here at the midfield stripe.
I believe that's 77 again. Young man who we thought injured his wrist, or that's Tyler Richards, if I saw that number correctly.
With this opportunity, we'll go to the sideline. John, you got your shirt today. You did not get your ring, but a nice ceremony here for the lacrosse team at the halftime.
No, yeah, that was really nice. You know, at the end of the day, it's nice to get a ring, but at the same time, yeah, I'm going to wear a shirt more than I wear my ring. So, not really a losing scenario there.
And for a guy who already has a ring, you know, the second one isn't quite as impressive as the first one, and eventually you somewhat run out of digits to put them on too, you know?
Yeah, right. Good call, good call.
How's everything stack up here around the halftime, around the conference today?
Almost got a nice 11-point lead over Benedictine at the end of the first half, 24-13. Olivet continues to put the beat down on Aurora, 23-7 early in the third quarter. Tryon has a commanding lead over Wisconsin Lutheran, 31-0. And Hope, after being down early, is now back up 20-9 against Lakeland.
There you go. So the MIAA doing extremely well this afternoon as we take on that NACC MIA Challenge, as we always do in week number 3 of the football season. And with that, it looks like the young fellow's going to be able to get off the field, but not without some help.
Yeah, he's not putting any weight on that left leg. That's always for a big offensive lineman or a defensive lineman. It's a scary sight to see them not be able to put any weight on that leg, because, you know, I mean, those are some of the toughest dudes on the football field. They're taking a pounding every play, so you know it's got to be fairly serious.
Handoff on third down will result in a first down as Nick Mirasola is able to cut his way over that left guard position and into Britt's territory for a couple more yards.
Rick and Angie Wagner from Mesa, Arizona, watching their son, number 79 for the visitors. Connor Wagner saying hello. Thank you so much for watching from the desert.
I noticed that on this team, they have several folks that are from Texas and Arizona, even have somebody from Las Vegas, as Poole will roll down towards his right and dump the little screen pass off for a completion. I believe that was Ripatella that had the ball up the football field to about the 37-yard line before he's upended right in front of the Brits bench.
Good job by Poole right there, Jim. You know, at some point that screen has to develop, and you know, the linebacker eventually went and got at the quarterback, and you know you're probably going to take a pop, but you have to stand in there long enough to deliver that one to get the backer to commit.
Hagler is the wide receiver right in front of us on this side, and then you have Turnett in the slot here on the home side for Concordia. Doubles on the top. Again, Poole drops straight back and throws, and this one's picked off, and look out, Harvey's got it. He needs a block, and he's got it. 40, 30, his third interception of the season's going to the house, and it's going back 64 big yards as the Brits defense gets on the scoreboard this afternoon. And they send the total to 51-0 here. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm sure the freshmen would like to have that one back. Ball
Looked
was
like he
heading up the
threw
field just a little bit, but boy, I don't know where that was going.
I think he thought he was going to break that pattern off right about where the sticks were. I think the receiver might have run an out and up right there, but the defender, right where that ball was, the only one who made a break on it. And again, Poole staring down his target right there. You have to look off first, keep the defense honest.
Well, again, the young fellow will.
He'll learn.
He'll learn. There's no doubt.
Yep.
Extra point by Fabre is good, and the Brits now up 52-0 after the Michael Harvey pick 6 here as we open up the scoring in the third quarter with a defensive score here for the Britons on the Britain Sports Network.
And again, Jim, it's something that you said earlier. Certainly are going to expect, there to be difficulty on a day like today when your starting quarterback and your starting running back, pretty much most of your offense is not here and they're not playing. And certainly not to make excuses for Concordia, Wisconsin, and they're certainly not going to make excuses either. But it's your starting quarterback and your starting running back to expect a quarterback who really hasn't played prior to now. He's going to take this game. He's definitely going to learn from it. He's going to grow and mature. Has a long way to go and a lot of time to get there. So with a couple weeks off, you certainly expect to see bigger and better things from Poole going forward.
No doubt about that. And you just have, you're going to deal with it. You're going to live with it. It's not that big of a deal. And he will grow up. That is part of every person's learning experience here when they come in and play D3 football like this, as the return comes back by Cody Lemley. And Lemley will bring it back up to the 34-yard line, and the Wisconsin will have this one first down and 10 from their own 34. And you're right, it just is. It's part of the maturation process of a quarterback.
And sometimes it's gonna be ugly.
Yeah, it really is.
Some days it's gonna be super fantastic, awesome, and other days it's gonna be what it is today, unfortunately, for Concordia, Wisconsin. But you learn from the negatives, you don't get too down, and from the positives, you don't get too up. You just keep learning.
Poole hands off to Mirasola, and Mirasola will be dropped after just a short gain by the Britons' defensive front. And the Brits so far today have really played extremely well up front. Basically, Trey Edwards is part of that push on the inside, along with Dallas Reynolds on that play, and a pickup of about a yard.
So Edwards showing blitz there from the safety position. He'll bring that blitz.
Poole acts like he's going to run, then he turns and pitches it back to Mirasola again, and Mirasola really not had much running room as he tries to get around the corner on the left side. Bazell out there along with some help from several of his teammates, and that was just a really no gain.
Mm-hmm. And that's the second time they've run that option to the left side. And again, not as comfortable quite yet as Poole just doing the single-handed left-hand pitch right there. He's using two hands on that one, and that's going to slow down that play. It's going to give the defense time to get there and seal the edge.
Ripatella and Wagner up on the visitor side, the short side of the field right now. Tennette down here along with Sanders as they're looking to the sideline for the offensive call.
Inside 5 for the play clock, Jim.
Mirasola, the running back, as Poole takes the snap with a couple ticks on that play clock, and he throws this one over the head of his intended receiver, Josh Sanders. And again, there was heat coming right up the middle of that football field. That will bring up a 4th down situation for the Falcons, 4th down and 8, and force them to kick this football again. And Rayshawn Robinson will drop back deep for the Britons to field this kick.
I want to say hi to Tanya Mall in Hampshire, Illinois. Says, thank you for a great webcast. Thank you so much for watching. Senior number 46, Damon Mall's family. Again, Hampshire, Illinois, thank you so much for tuning in. And also, Elon Williams, Coach Elon from Redford, Michigan, watching Sean Kubit Miller, number 94. Proud to see him using the moves we worked on over the last 5 summers.
There you go. Rayshawn Robinson waits for this one to bounce up and then makes a risky catch of the football. And they will mark him actually at his forward-most progress at the 15-yard line before he was slammed down back around the 13. It will be 1st and 10 Brits, and let's just see what crew's coming in. To a point, Jimmy, that you brought up a little while ago, because some people watching may say, well, you've got Kyle Thomas out here as also a freshman for the Britons, and he seems to be a little bit farther ahead, but Thomas started his career last year at the University of Findlay, and then basically did not make that team as far as the starting lineup, and eventually transferred over here. So at least he has 1 year of watching and being part of a program under his belt. In essence, he is basically a sophomore this year, even though he didn't play any last year for the University of Findlay.
And he's taken the snaps with the ones.
He has, yeah,
so,
entirely.
I mean, you know, there's going to be more familiarity with the offense, opportunity to build more of that, you know, that kinetic power. You know, with the receivers, you're going to know where you need them to be running routes. And, you know, in this third game, you're seeing his maturation, and he's throwing it to a spot, and the receivers are getting to that spot. So it takes time to develop.
Mitchell was the running back there, and he'll have the football again as he cuts right up the middle of the football field, and he'll have a first down. 2 runs, about 12 yards total between the two of them for Alvarez and Mitchell.
Susan Rubin watching from Phoenix, Arizona. I want to say hi to Susan. Thank you so much for tuning in. Out west, a little earlier there. Was it 2 hours behind?
Yeah, 2 or 3 out there, and you know, I'd still be in bed if I was out there.
And if it's Phoenix, that's what, about like 160 degrees, I think, right now out there. I have family out there, so I get the reports sometimes.
Mitchell again will find positive running room off the right side of that offensive line. He'll get out for about 7 to the 35-yard lines, and again, the Brits now starting to flex their muscles up front and just trying to grind a little clock here in this third quarter.
Yep, and I think this is, you know, again, the offense is what it is, but when you're up 52-0, I think you can expand the playbook a little and go a little more run first, pass second.
Thomas will throw this one to the middle of the football field, and he's got his guy. That is Winchell, and that will be enough for a first down as the big tight end just sits down right around the 40-yard line, and Thomas with all day to throw. And that's another difference there between he and his counterpart here today from Wisconsin.
Yep.
Thomas has had numerous occasions where he could have stood back then and played cards for a little while before he let go of that ball.
But a big part of that is also the mobility.
Yes.
You don't want to overcommit as a defense because you know that a mobile quarterback is just going to leave you in the dust. Whereas, you know, again, Poole, not really a run-first kind of quarterback, is going to run kind of out of necessity as opposed to, you know, out of design. And so, you know, the defense knows that, and they box him in, and then they can power rush him right up the middle.
Mitchell with the draw play for about 8 yards. It sets up a 2nd down and 2 now for the Brits. And again, when you're operating at 2nd and 2, the playbook is wide open. And they'll fake this time, and Thomas will throw it out, and it's caught by Kitka. Wow. And again, a little improvisation there by Kyle Thomas, who was about ready to find the field turf here at the stadium, and was able to dump it off real quick at the very last minute to Zach Kitka, as you see the replay here.
Well, and Jim, what that tells me is, as a defense, you think you finally got one, but the play is never dead.
So Kitka gets a first down, and the Brits will refire the engine here on this playbook. Servo slips and falls down after he picks up a couple of yards. Give him 3, I guess, as every now and then you hit that spot on the field where the cleats don't stick and the wheels just come out from underneath of you, and that's what happened. Thomas going to throw this one. Guns it to an open receiver in between 2 defensive backs, and a nice job there by Koski to come back for that football in between 2 defensive backs, catch the football for the first down, set the Brits up at the 34-yard line, 1st down and 10.
And you can't ask any more of Cody Lemley, 33 right there for Concordia, Wisconsin, all over the receiver.
Koski just with a nice job to come back to the football. This one thrown a little bit higher and harder to Winchell, and Winchell is fighting with 4 Falcons down to the 20-yard line. They'll give him forward progress there before he stopped, and again, the sticks move one more time for the Britons.
And you don't want to become, you know, obviously you want to run the clock. You don't want to become completely predictable and one-dimensional, though, either. So you say, you know, why are they throwing when they're up 52? If you just basically tell the defense, hey, we're going to hand off 3 times, we're going to kick it back to you, they're going to put 9-10 in the box, and they're going to make your running backs pay for it. So, you know, of course you can't be completely predictable and one-dimensional even with the lead.
Hess and Kitka, the receivers here on the home side. as they fake the ball to Servo, and then they throw the ball out into the flat, and it's caught and out of bounds goes 83. That's a number I did not write down the
Tyler
last time.
Sykes.
Tyler Sykes.
He's a senior, and if you're Tyler Sykes' family, I don't have a hometown on Mr. Sykes. Those two cells are blank on my scoreboard, so we'll say he's from parts unknown.
He's a wanderer.
As an old-time wrestling fan, I always loved the guy from parts unknown.
Sykes gets the first down at the 5. Zarnecki checks in at the halfback spot. He's to the right of Thomas, the quarterback, and you wonder if this is Thomas's last opportunity of the day as Zarnecki spins, and nobody has the ability to put two hands on him.
I don't
the next
think
thing
they
you know,
saw him.
he's standing in the end zone with another touchdown.
I think it, shades of his older brother right there. You kind of mask yourself behind the O-line, and then you get up, and if you hide the ball well, you look like you're just in there trying to put a block in, and they don't wrap you up. You just kind of keep bouncing off, and you keep spinning, and eventually you're in the end zone giving the ball to the referee.
Pat Zarnecki has 2 scores this afternoon, and his first action at halfback for the Britons, and the extra point again is good. And just like that, the Britons now lead 59-0 with 5:56 to go in this third quarter.
Offensive touchdown, defensive touchdown. Now if we want the hat trick here in the third quarter, we get a special teams touchdown.
Yeah, need one run back, and we've seen those at time or two here at Albion.
Jim Albion College Theater Department's first production of the year, On the Verge, begins its run at the Herrick Auditorium Black Box Theater September 21. General admission is just $5, while anyone with a valid Albion ID is admitted for free. Visit albion.edu/theater, that's the RE spelling, or call 629-0344 for a complete schedule of performances and for more information. Albion.edu/theater with the RE spelling.
Sprankle-Sprandel Stadium is happy here today, Jimmy, as the crowd is on their feet with the Brits on top 59-0. Big John came up for some batteries, and my Fitbit again went up another 14,000 trots there.
Attaboy.
I'm feeling much better, much healthier here today, thanks to him. I am.
Svelte.
Cody Lemley on the return again is
Lemley taking over those returning duties for Tenet, giving him a little bit of a break, and I can't blame him. Again, you're asking him to be the primary return guy, be the #1 target really through the air. And he's carrying the team so far, really.
One thing I'm watching, Jim, I think that's Marlon Martin down here about the 40-yard line. He's out of his pads now, just in a T-shirt, and I've yet to see him move around all that much, but he has been moving around, and that is a good sign, because the last time we saw him, he was on the trainer's table in his uniform and an ice pack on the 1 foot or ankle. I think he's sitting right in front of 34 down here at about the 41-yard line. So keep an eyeball. I believe that's who that is. I don't see him dressed anywhere, and I would expect that since he's probably out of the game for the rest of the day, he'd be reduced down to T-shirt and pants, and that appears to be his attire right now. I'm kind of curious as to how he's getting around the football field now. 2nd down and 8 as they fire this one down the center of the football field, and Coy was wide open at the 30, and Poole just a little bit overthrown, and we have Laundry in the backfield, and I think we have a roughing the passer call against the Britons.
Yep, late hit on the quarterback right there, and just off the fingertips. Definitely had a few steps on the defender. Nice post move right there. Almost connected, and if he would have hit that one, Jim, it would have been the first points of the game for Concordia, Wisconsin.
He had him open, and all he needed to do was just feather that one in just a little lighter for the 6. He'll do that probably next year. Next time we see him, I would bet he would be a little more dangerous to deal with as Nixon. Even though Nixon a much better quarterback, he is a senior this year, so Aaron Nixon's days more than likely with Wisconsin is going to be over at the end of this one. So it does appear that the young man that they're grooming for the job is Dalton Poole.
Yep. Depends on the severity of the injury.
Yes.
Whether they give him a 5th-year redshirt option.
So the sticks will move towards the Albion side of the football field as they'll put the ball down on the 46-yard line of the Britons with 5:09 to play. They'll fake the handoff, and Poole now under pressure again, gets hit, but he gets this one out, and he's got it to Tenet. Tanet lost the football, but was he on the ground by the time he got it? I believe that they're going to call it
because he got
incomplete.
to call that one incomplete. He didn't complete the catch all the way to the ground.
You can see the pressure again the Poole has as he lets go of this thing. He takes a Brit right to the rib cage, and the throw across the middle of the football field, and the ball.
You see, still doesn't completely have it in control. And he
Comes
loses
out.
control. Yep. Ground didn't cause that one. He just didn't complete the catch.
2nd and 10 as the handoff will go for a couple here as number 4 Jordan Edwards will have a first down as that one opened up nicely, and the pickup will be 11 yards to the 35-yard line, and the sticks will move for the Falcons. Britain's with some new players on the defensive side of the ball right now, and we'll try to identify some of them as we go here as the afternoon moves on, because we do have some new folks. Donovan Slate's in at one of the linebacker spots. He's number 30. Nolan Rollins is the other linebacker right now. Poole calls his own number, but he's got no place to go, and he's going to go right down in the middle of the field with Hunter Shaw, as Shaw also in at the 1 tackle spot. Bazell also in with him, and Joe Fullerton on the front of that line, and then on the other end is Nick Davenport. So basically the number 2 defensive line in the 2 deep is on the field right now for the Britons. Also Hayden Baker, number 13, playing safety here right in front of us at the 30-yard line. So some new faces as the Brits start to substitute. Poole gets away from the first wave. Now he's going to throw it. He's got a guy right in the center of the football field, and he's got him, Jordan Edwards, and Edwards will be inside the 10, down at the 9-yard line. And again, a real nice play by the freshman there to avoid all kinds of pressures. You can see it here on the monitor, and be able to get away, and at the very last second then turn, set himself, and find a wide open receiver in the middle of the football field for a nice pickup.
We've talked about Thomas being able to extend the play with his feet. There's a tremendous job by Poole right there in the face of serious heat and adversity, making good things happen.
Edwards caught that last pass. He also runs this first down play for a couple. It is 2nd down now and goal, as that ball was just inside the 10-yard line. So the Falcons will need to score. There's no opportunity for a first down for them. And Poole was 3 wide receivers to the top with Tanet in the slot. Let's see if he'll look for that. No, it'll go the opposite direction, and that's intercepted. Back in the corner of the end zone. That one just underthrown a little bit, and I believe that's Hayden Baker that we just talked about, number 13, that stepped in front of that pass and was heading for Ryan Wagner, and the ball thrown just a little bit underthrown there and right in the gut there, Baker.
Here's one he definitely liked to have back. You want to put that one, a little more air under that one, way back towards the corner. Again, you always talk about as a quarterback, you want to put it where only your guy can get it. And
Wagner's 6 foot 4 inches tall, and
had 4 inches on his defender right there. But
Baker,
again, the underthrown ball.
Baker had great position on him. And again, Jimmy, if you throw it up there for a jump ball, more than likely you've got your first touchdown of the afternoon. Instead, the football gets turned over, and the Brits will keep Kyle Thomas on the football field at the 15. And if you're wondering why Thomas is out there, again, he is a legitimate freshman on this football team, and he is starting to find his way as well. He's just a little bit ahead of Mr. Poole, but Thomas will run this one across the 20 to about the 21-yard line. And he'll get a couple.
Make sure you drop us a line, webcast at albion.edu. Thank you so much for tuning in, and check the messages now to see if we have a few more shout-outs, but appreciate everybody who's checked in so far from all around the country.
I think our buddy John, who's sitting up here with us as his battery's going, as this one is completed for a loss of a couple, out to about the 20-yard line. I think that was picked off by Kyle Winchell, and Winchell was stopped for a loss of about 3, so it'll be 3rd down and 10. And Johnny, you up to date? You got some scores for us before you head back down on the sideline?
Yeah, yep. Okay, we're good. Awesome.
There you go.
Just an excuse to get some shade up here.
Yeah, it's kind of warm down there this afternoon, isn't it? Huh?
It's kind of brutal out there, not gonna lie.
Thomas will take off on the run, and we'll get some scores after Thomas goes down at the 36-yard line with the first down. And how's the rest of the conference faring against these guys today?
Doing about the same, going back and forth in every game. Alma is up now 31-19 over Benedictine, about midway through the 3rd quarter. Meanwhile, Aurora is starting to come back a little bit. It's still 23-14 14, Olivet with the lead. Then Trine continuing to really put the beat down on Wisconsin Lutheran, 38-0 at the beginning of the third quarter. And then Hope, Lakeland is coming back. It's 20-15 now, but very early on in the game.
There you go. So the MIAA right now leading in every category here today. One more game tonight with Adrian playing a little bit later this evening. A 7 o'clock game. It was scheduled for 5 and then moved this week to 7. So Adrian will be playing the late game tonight. And as we said, as Thomas drops and completes this one to Kyle Winchell, now, in fact, that was Sykes, 83, not 85. Next week, the conference gets the week off, except for Adrian, and they will have to travel to Wisconsin Stevens Point, as they will play the only game here of any conference team next week, and again, against a very tough Stevens Point team that we saw, as Freeman cuts and then back to the center of the field and gets all the way to the 38-yard line.
Close to another first down, and we have somebody Falcon on the field, number 37, and that's John Rao, Jim.
Not a good situation for Rao. Rao, another one of those Slinger, Wisconsin guys. They've got a couple of those guys. Jacob Mason, the punter, and Rao, both from Slinger, Wisconsin, S-L-I-N-G-E-R, Wisconsin.
Officials
Both of them
timeout.
juniors.
Injury.
Both of them juniors, so they probably were of the same graduating class and went together to play at Concordia. And an interesting situation. Hopefully this young fellow's going to be up off the turf here real quickly and onto the sideline. 49 ticks left in the third quarter, Jim, and the Brits up 59-0.
Well, we have a moment. Want to remind everybody at home watching, save October 20th and 21st for homecoming weekend. Homecoming is a fantastic time to reconnect with classmates, friends, and former faculty. This year, alumni have the opportunity to connect with current students, faculty, and community members at athletic and music events and class reunions. Registration closes October 18th, so about 1 month from today, at albion.edu/homecoming. Again, that's October 20 and 21.
John Bolello up here with us in the booth right now. As John's getting out of the sun, you get a good tan so far already, John? Are you in pretty good? You're good. I heard you bouncing there, buddy. Go ahead and talk to me here for a minute. The power went out. Uh-oh, look out. That's not a good thing. Power went totally out on John Bolello here.
I hear you when you're tapping
there's
it,
something tapping there. There you go. Can you talk to us?
No.
Yeah, there you go.
We got you.
Yeah, there he is. He's all the. Tell me just a little bit. You know, the lacrosse team got their rings, got their shirts today.
You got the shirts.
Okay, well, they didn't get their rings. I'm sorry. They got their shirts today. I'll be more specific here today.
There you go.
Right at this point in time, what is that team up to? Are you training at this point? What does the lacrosse team do in the fall?
Yeah, we're about halfway through our fall.
Sykes with the catch inside the 5. We have an ineligible downfield, I believe, against the Brits, so this one's coming back, and Thomas with a nice job putting the ball on the money. But this one will come back, and we'll get back to John then. What is the training schedule, or what do you do right now if you're a lacrosse member of the Albion Brits?
So right now we're about halfway through the fall season, and what we do is we do a few 2 days a week, so a lot of getting up at 6 a.m. You know, coach tries to maybe weed out some people who may
Ineligible receiver on the offense downfield.
Right about the
5-yard
middle, we do our
penalty,
prospect
repeat
weekend.
the down.
A lot of recruits coming on campus, staying overnight, and partaking in our camp on Sunday. Really show the kids the ropes, have them scrimmage. We coach them up a little bit, tell them what it's like here, and basically we're preparing for. We played 2 games at the beginning of October. We played Detroit Mercy D1, and we play D3 school Kenyon to see where we're at, and that's what we're building for right now, to see if we can be a cohesive group and play smart, play fast, be dangerous.
Well, there you go, and that pretty well describes the run that Doug Freeman just put in there, as he was smart, fast, and dangerous, and he got up the football field for a first down as we bring this third quarter to a close.
I'll add one more word, patient.
Yeah, very patient.
On that run right there.
Freeman, again, the only running back in the backfield, and they will hand him the football, and this will be the last play of quarter number 3 as we're down to 3 ticks.
The power at the end of that run, Jim. Just dip that shoulder and just start pushing.
The big senior gets about 4 yards on that play. 5'11", 208 pounds is Doug Freeman, and that brings 3 quarters to a close here, as the Britons have a 59-0 lead as we head to the final 15 minutes of the afternoon.
Jim, I want to give a Hello from Michigan to an email that says hello from Wisconsin. David, Valerie, Alex, and Peyton Fenn watching from West Bend, Wisconsin. Their son/brother, for different family members watching, is number 23, Zach Fountain. They say, great broadcast and clear picture. We love the replays also. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for sending us a note here on the Britain Sports Network. One other shout out real quick. We have Chris Fleener, the mom of number 74, Patrick Fleener, watching from Carpentersville, Illinois. So, again, we're getting them from all over the country. Love everybody not only watching the broadcast, but also sending us the message at webcast@albion.edu to let us know where you are, what you're up to. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Well, all of those comments that we get, we just really, truly appreciate, because sometimes you do a football game like this and you wonder whether there's anybody out there. So when you give people the opportunity to say hi, it's wonderful when they do come back and say, hey, even if the comment comes back and it says, oh my gosh, the big guy doing the play-by-play, don't put him on camera anymore because my computer's having some difficulty after we saw him the last time.
Or like last week where we had a couple of last names that were a little challenging to pronounce, and we had some family members giving us the phonetic pronunciation. We do appreciate that, and we certainly never mean to mispronounce your son or your nephew or grandson's name. We're certainly here to have a good time, call a good game, but we always want to give credit where it's due, and that's to the student athletes who are on the field making it happen.
Third down now and about 5 for the Britons here as they open up quarter number 4. And now we do have Blanzy in at the quarterback position, and I would bet that he will end this ball game, and he's going to open it up with a toss and a completion to Josh Hess, a 6'2", 205-pound junior. Pulls it in for the first down, and the Brits keep the sticks alive.
I think you're seeing 2s on 2s right here. That tackle was made by number 19, Dawson Ziegler, a freshman defensive back.
And again, with Concordia, when you take a look at that second lineup for them, they have a number of freshmen. So it's a young football team. Blanzy throws it out. The receiver runs it in. And this one falls harmlessly out of bounds with nobody around it.
Thankfully, that miscommunication did not result in a turnover there, as the ball was thrown a little bit too far and out of bounds.
Calvin Green is number 80, who is in the game right now. So Green, the intended receiver, as the Brits now going down that lineup, and we are going to probably be talking about some names that we have not discussed here so far this year.
Calvin, a junior from Flint, Michigan.
Handoff and some open running room.
Oh, look at that run.
Freeman all the way to the pylon for 6.
Patience again on that run, Jim. He waited for the receiver to get down to throw that last block to allow him to spring it to the outside. You see the speed, you see the power, but watch the patience here. You're going to see the wide receiver come back for the block. Come on. There you go. Get that last block. He's able to keep the legs moving, use the sideline as the friend right there. Great job by the receiver to come back, get that last block, allowing him to spring it for the touchdown.
And we'll give him a 7 for that little somersault flip there at the goal line. And if he just would have stuck the landing a little more, we probably would have been a little better than that. But a nice job by Freeman. Scampers way in for his first touchdown of the afternoon and send the Brits on top 66-0 here on the Brits Sports Network. And I'll tell you what, Jimmy, we've had a tough week last week against Stevens Point, but I think a very good football team. And then they opened the season up down at Wabash, and Wabash always a perennial contender for the Division III playoffs. So the Brits open up with 2 very, very good programs back-to-back. They lost to both of those teams, but they come in today, and I think at this point they found this team from Wisconsin to be their liking as they come in and are just rolling today after losing 36-25 to Wabash and 33-19 to Stevens Point last week. And with this right now, 66-0 with 14 minutes yet to go in the ball game, you would expect, I would think, that the Britons are going to try to run some clock here as this one will kick out of bounds and give Stevens Point, or give Wisconsin Concordia their best field position in a long time here as they'll get the ball on the 35-yard line.
See if we can get some updated game stats. Again, go to gobrits.com. To get all the information about today's contest as well as all other fall sports. 33 first downs compared to 11 for CUW. Total offense 586 to 168 for the Britons, 357 through the air. Just a tremendous day. Putting that ball up, getting the big plays.
On the kicking team, that ball will be placed at the 35-yard line, first down.
There you go. So that was the call, and we'll go down to John here in a minute or two to check up on some scores here as most of these games getting into the fourth quarter now, all the 1 o'clock games that got started. There is a 1:30 game.
Wide open.
Poole gets this one out, and he's got his guy, and he's heading up the sideline at the 25, and out of bounds at the 23 goes Jake Busher. And Poole really took a lick as he let go of that football right here. You can see him.
But who lost the receiver? Because he went to a spot down there in the corner, and he stopped. He didn't even come back for the ball. So tremendous job finding the wide open receiver, but somebody on defense got caught kind of peeking right there.
Busher gets knocked out of bounds at the 22-yard line, so it'll be first down and 10 there for Concordia. Edwards in the backfield. They'll hand the ball to Edwards, and he'll be inside to the 15-yard line, so a nice pickup on first down. And you've got to believe the folks from Concordia, before they hop back on that bus and head home, would like to take that 0 off the scoreboard this afternoon, and that's what their efforts are at this point.
At the same time, Coach Rundle, even though he has his 2s in there right now, maybe even a few 3s, wants to keep that 0 on the scoreboard. You put that challenge up, your coordinators do, to your defense. If you're wearing the hat and you're out there doing the work, we want to keep them out of the end zone.
And you've got to believe that Coach Rundle doesn't really cut you any slack whether you're a 2 or a 3 out there right now.
You're out on the field. You are the one right now.
You better be making the play. Your name's going to be called in that film session this week if you don't make the play. And that was almost a touchdown to the corner there as they had Ryan Wagner going up for that football. I think he mistimed his jump just a little bit. Coverage was pretty good there in the corner. As you can see, he ducks inside, but couldn't quite get positioned well enough to be able to pull that football down. So it will be third down now.
Might have been Jared Collins, number 3, the freshman safety on the coverage right there from Ludenton High School. Again, we're talking about names that we don't normally get to call, but this is a good opportunity for these young players to get the game experience.
More than likely, they're not going to get much time on the football field from here on in as we start conference play. As this little screen pass gets thrown to Sanders, and Sanders breaks a tackle or two, and he'll be close to the 7-yard line, which will be plenty for the first down. We'll drop the sticks on the sideline. It will be first down and goal, actually at the 6 for the Falcons.
And again, Josh Sanders, like you said, Jim, 6'3", 215. He's a big guy, and you do not want to just try to take him on shoulder to shoulder. He's going to bounce you off.
Busher and Wagner are the 2 wide receivers on the visitor side, the wide side of the field. Ripatella is in the slot on that side, and all by himself down here is Sanders. They'll hand the ball off to Edwards. He'll sweep the right end. He's around the corner. Did he get in? Let's see. They say he stepped out, I think, about the 1.
It's also, if you watch the replay here, it's where the ball is, not where his feet are. Because it looked like his feet actually, unless he stepped out just before, you see his feet break the plane, but look where the ball is. I think it was in his right hand right there. But the quarterback keeps it and gets the touchdown on the very next play. So CUW gets on the board. 12:03 to play in the fourth quarter. Quarterback, I guess that's the rewards for a tough day at the office.
I think so too, man.
Mr. Poole right there. Call your own number and push that one in.
1-yard quarterback sneak for the first points of the afternoon here for the Falcons, and the extra point here about ready to be tried again by Jacob Mason. Mason, the punter and the kicker. He's had a busy afternoon punting the ball this afternoon.
Very curious, Jim, to see what
timeout
his long could be.
Because
you've seen such a tremendous job on special teams doing the punting. You know, even President Ditzler gave him high praise for a tremendous job in the first half. I'd be interested to see what his limit is in field goals.
Well, so far this year, he is 3 for 4. He's hit two 24-yarders and a 26-yarder, and extra points. He is only actually 1 for 1 so far this year. So This will be only his second try, according to the stats that I have on the season, and that doesn't seem like it would be right either.
Unless they're going for 2 every time.
Yeah, and that could be a situation as well. But he's been very accurate with field goals. He's a wonderful punter, as the Prez said. You know,
obviously
really
very strong leg.
And again, he's a left-footed kicker, which you don't see every day of the week either. Quinn is the long snapper, and the holder on that ball was Rao, and the extra point put right through the uprights, and just like that, it is now 66-7.
Tell you what, Jim, if he's a good left-footed kicker, the Oakland Raiders might want to invest a draft pick in him.
Yeah, no
they
doubt
seem to like strong left-footed kickers. They had one go on IR, they signed another one, and he can kick from 50, and
there you go.
Feeling that young man could probably hit from 50, so you never know.
Extra point makes it 66-7 as we go down to the sideline. John Bilello down there. Johnny, how about some updates from around the conference?
Yeah, not much of a change going on. Alma's still up 38-19 late in the third quarter. Olivet, close game there. It was 17-0 around halftime, but Aurora has fought back. It is now 30-21 thanks to a 99-yard kickoff return for Olivet. Trying up 45-0 over Wisconsin Lutheran late in the third, and it's still halftime at Hope, 20-15 over Lakeland.
And just for your point of reference, the press and the coaches picked Lakeland #1 in that conference this year, Aurora #2, Benedictine #3, Wisconsin Lutheran #4, Concordia, Wisconsin 5, Concordia, Chicago 6, as this will go out of bounds on the kick, and Rockford #7. And as you take a look at the standings coming into this afternoon, Concordia, Chicago, and Lakeland were both 1-0 coming into this afternoon's play. Aurora and Benedictine and Wisconsin Concordia were 1-1. Rockford at 0-1, and Wisconsin Lutheran at 0-2. So that's the way everything stood when we got in here this afternoon. And at this point,
the kicking team. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
At this point, it appears, waiting the outcome of this evening's ball game, obviously, that most of the NACC teams are going to add one more digit in the loss column before the afternoon is over, after they're done playing in the MIAA. And Rockford gets Adrian tonight as the Brits get a nice pickup on first down of about 9 yards, as Sykes gets that football. And again, Sykes gets 9 3/4. It'll be second down and short for the Britons.
Nice slant pattern right there. Quick slant.
And Blanzy again will throw, this time at the flat to Swinderman. And Swinderman is into Falcon territory and refusing to go down. Brent goes down finally at the 29-yard line. So Brent Swinderman, a 5'8" senior, gets a nice pickup there on second down and short. Picks up almost 40 yards on that catch and run, and Britt's still moving the football. Handoff again. Goes to 20, and I'm going to have to grab a number from you on that one,
Number
Jimmy.
20 is Cole Hollenbeck, the freshman out of Frankfurt.
There you go. Cole Hollenbeck, the running back, as we get a new look here.
And just as you get used to one, now you have Jacob Clark, number 31, the freshman, in there.
So there you go. And Zarnecki also in on the play right now. The fake, that is, you're right, that's Clark. When he turned around, I didn't see the ones. Swinneman with the football, and he's close to the end zone as he gets tripped up at the 3-yard line.
I see a promising future out of this young man. Swindeman, Jim, caught a couple of screen passes, and then he finds a crease, and he goes.
Fighting for a little playing time. The unfortunate part about him is he is a senior this year, so his days are running out, but maybe he's going to fight his way into some playing time as the year goes on. And we got a whistle before this play starts, and a timeout called by Concordia before that one gets going here with 10:23 to play. Last ball game of the night is Rockford and Adrian in this contest here today. And as we said, Rockford, the number 7 team in the conference as far as the coaches and the press preseason polling went, and they come into the afternoon at 0-1, and they're taking on an Adrian team that is 0-1 as well. But Adrian, only competition so far was Ohio Northern, and they played Ohio Northern really tough in week 1, losing 35-31 as they had last week off.
Jim, want to give a couple shout outs. Paul and Nadine Menark watching the senior number 59 Ben Menark from Hampshire, Illinois. And we'll go through a couple more of these. Tom Jones sends us an email. Ruben Forster, number 34, freshman from Menden. His dad from South Africa is in attendance today. All his younger brother is here to root for the Brits. That's pretty cool.
That is very cool. So the Britons doing a nice job this afternoon as they have a win here with their second afternoon at home in front of their home crowd after a tough start last week. Throw into the corner, up with the catch.
He got it.
And down is Sykes, and that's a touchdown.
What concentration.
So Tyler Sykes has come on here in the second half and made a bit of a name for himself here.
Beautiful touch pass. What concentration. That's a catch in the pros right there, Jim. 2 feet down. Love it.
Went up, brought them both down, touched them both, and then fell out of bounds with the football. And it's 72-7 now with the extra point on its way. I think, let's see, we're staying with our kicker. I expected maybe we'd see a new number out there. That is 99 still, I believe,
yep.
right?
Yep.
Extra, nope, that's 19, Jimmy. How's that?
There you
19
go.
doing the kicking
Saw
instead of 99.
19 is 19. It's Jared Simmons,
there you
freshman
go.
out of Davidson.
So Simmons has the extra point, and that makes it 73-7. And Mr. Reeker is back here waving at me right now. Oh yeah. Yeah. Kenny brought up a good point, Jim. You know, John Bolello on the sideline will be happy to know that if the Brits do score 80 points this afternoon, it is a Chalupa Saturday afternoon.
Is it?
Yeah, normally it's 100 in college,
basketball.
but in basketball. But in football, we move it down to 80, and John will be taking everybody here in the stands out for Chalupas afterwards. We will get
Pressure's
team bus, and
sorry, John.
John's got the mic up, and I think, John, are you ready? Got your wallet out, ready to go?
Oh, I'm excited. I got my 2005 Buick Terrazza ready to be packed and ready to go wherever Chalupas are.
There you go.
There you go. That's the spirit.
That's why we've got him down on the sideline, and he gets paid, obviously, the big money. Big return here by the young fella Cody Lemley, who's had a, for an afternoon, it's hard to say that when your team's getting beat 73-7 that you're having a pretty good afternoon. But Lemley's had some nice returns when he's gone in and made those plays, and that one with a block would have been a touchdown for Lemley as he fills in for Isaiah Tonette. And Tonette had a 99-yard kick return in the opening week of this season, and basically Lemley trying to match that one. This time he has it to the 45-yard line of the Britons. It'll be first down and 10 for the Falcons. Turning the handoff, and the run will go to Montgomery. And Montgomery, who really we expected to see a little more out of today, is now on the field, and he picks up 10 on the first down carry.
Got a shout out from Magnolia, Texas. Houston strong, Texas strong. Watching number 91, Travis Damasio, say thank you, Albion, for a great video coverage. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sending us a message. Also, Kerry Wagner from Long Beach, California. Tyler Sykes.
Little action on the interior of that Concordia line that was not meant to happen, and the procedure call will cost him 5 yards.
Kerry Wagner is my new favorite fan of the week. Tyler Sykes on our sheet, Jim. You saw we didn't have a hometown, from Utica, Michigan.
There you go.
I love it.
Always need that extra information here on a Saturday afternoon to keep the game going. Montgomery's going to get blown up in the backfield this time. Oh my goodness, he was not a happy guy when he saw the Brits number 33, and Jimmy, you're going to grab that number for me as well, because that's not on any of the numbers that I've got in front of me. 33 for the Brits. Just blew that run up for a big loss. And
33
now
for the Brits.
Second down and about 22 here for the Falcons.
Might be Nathan Perry out.
There
I
you
have
go.
him as a backup number 32, though. So
Okay.
it might have been a number switches. That does happen occasionally in D3 football. So we apologize, but we also have very deep benches, especially on the home side.
Well, when you get to a home game like this one and you have the ability to play as many kids as what you're going to play, that
and when the
gets to
score
be
gets the way it is now.
100 plus. Okay,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah. You have duplicate numbers down there, so
73-7. Clock moving at 8.5 to play in this football game. Poole drops. He's got some heat coming, and he's going to go down for a big loss back at the 46-yard line.
we'll give half that to David Akema, number 95, and also looked like number 32 on the stop right there.
Tyler George.
Tyler George. Want to say hi to Ronnie Broadhead. Zach Loveland watching Ronnie Broadhead Concordia. He's east side of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Ah, there you go.
Hope you are enjoying your early afternoon in Vegas. Hope the weather is beautiful for you there as it is here.
Is there a fight going on there tonight? Is that where that big fight is this evening out in Vegas?
Is that Triple G guy?
I think so.
Rayshawn
Robinson will drop back for the Britons. He's got his backs of his shoes sitting right there on the 10-yard line. Those Nikes. Snap is bobbled, but the kick gets away. And this one will be down at around the 22-yard line, and you just have to be pretty much happy that you got rid of that one. As he drops the punt again, a backup kicker now, as Mason's not on the field anymore.
You talk about concentration, though, Jim. I bet you 8 to 9 times out of 10 right there, you're going to get tackled. You're not even going to get that kick off. So, I mean, you got to hand it to that young man. That is just tremendous concentration in the face of adversity.
Albert Gerlitz was the young guy that was kicking, and boy, he was under all kinds of pressure after he bobbled that snap and was able to get the ball away as Blanzy snaps his hands. Now he loses the football, but he'll fall on it right around the 20-yard line, so they'll lose a couple.
Well, it's obvious there's something wrong with the football.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think this one is defective. You need to give it to John. John will dispose of it properly, and we'll get a good football in there.
Exactly. Well, John is going to probably bring it with us when we go see the folks there for those chalupas here a little bit later. Here comes those fresh legs as they were talking about here in the booth, and the run goes for 11 right up the middle of the football field, and it's 31, Jim. Again, I did not scratch that number down the last time.
Number 31, Jacob Clark, the freshman out of Livonia.
There you go.
Franklin High School, 5'11", 185-pound freshman running back.
Clark gets 11 and then comes to the sideline immediately. Fake, and Blanzy throws, and he's completed his pass up on the top side, 50 and out of bounds, right around the 49-yard line.
Well, they're just going to keep kind of walking backwards here.
And again, that's going to be another one of those backup number 6 numbers here.
Penalty,
Jim.
that's why, big guy.
Okay.
You see the laundry on the far side at about the 38.
Who's number 6 on the Brits offense, Jim?
Isaiah Gibson, number 6, freshman wideout out of St. Petersburg, went to Northside Christian School. Isaiah Gibson.
So Gibson with a nice pickup, but it's all coming back. But he stays in the game this time, so he's up as part of that bunch on the high side of the football field. 6:44, the clock will wind now, and this ball game is heading towards its conclusion. Draw play up the center of the field for a nice pickup across the 35 to about the 37-yard line.
The revolving door of running backs continues as now Carlos Parks, number 34, Battle Creek Central High School product, 5'8", 189. So to say this young man is compact and powerful is an understatement, Jim.
So they turn and fake the ball to Parks, and they throw the ball out to Gibson, number 6, and Gibson steps over a man. He makes a cut at the 35, and he's close to the 30-yard line. And this young fella showing some promise out here on a football field on a Saturday afternoon. He says, hey, coach, give me a little chance. You can see with the replay right now, good block to spring him loose early.
And nobody else there. So you saw a well-designed play as well, Jim. You had one defender out in that area, call that quick screen, and they've had a lot of success with that quick screen going to the right and to the left here in the fourth quarter.
Give me an 81, Jimmy. He's in the on the field of play as well, as they'll throw the opposite way. They back to Parks again, or Gibson, and Gibson again up the football field inside the 20 to about the 17-yard line.
Number 81 is your good friend of mine, Colby Canfield, 6'1", 200-pound freshman wideout from Stockbridge.
There you go.
Colby Canfield.
I think James Taylor talked about Stockbridge to Boston, something like that, in a song at one time 100 years ago.
I'm sure everybody under the age of 30 knows exactly what you're talking about.
That's for the old folks out there in the crowd right now. That's where that one's heading.
Everybody's throwing James Taylor in their Google machine right there right now to figure out
who in the world.
What number is
guy?
James Taylor?
Yeah.
What position does he play?
Who's 82? While we got a little time, because we got a new number in that too.
Number 82 is John Lewis, a junior wideout out of Mikado.
So a timeout on the football field as we'll head down to our own John Bilello down on the sideline. And John, it looks like chalupas are all in our future. I hope you brought either a big credit card or a lot of cash here this afternoon.
Oh yeah, you know I got my Platinum American Express card ready to go, my black card.
Attaboy, that's what we like to hear. How's the rest of the MIA doing this afternoon, John?
Still no change with that Alma game, still 38-19, beginning of the fourth quarter. Olivet starting to pull away now from Aurora late in the fourth, up 37-21 now. Trine being absolutely relentless against Wisconsin Lutheran, now 48-0 beginning of the fourth. And Hope at the beginning of the second half starting to pull away, 23-15 right now over Lakeland.
There you go. So John Bilello is always doing a wonderful job on the sideline for us here this afternoon. And one last thing for you to check on for us, John, over there. Marlon Martin, is he on the sideline right now? I saw him kind of, I thought not dressed, but standing at least in with the crowd a little while ago. So if you could keep an eye open for him and this ball thrown a little bit short and see how he's motoring on that bad wheel that he hurt there in the first half. But you got him down there, you think?
Well, I've seen him, with the shirt on walking around. I talked to head athletic trainer Andy Lawrence, who was very professional about it and said it was an undisclosed lower body injury. Of course, it looks like an ankle, most likely ankle, could be a foot, but it's all precautionary. Just resting him for the next game.
That sounds like a great idea for the Brits.
That's a touchdown.
They're going to get another touchdown going, and it looks like Chalupa's all the way around as Cole
Hollenbeck, yep,
cuts the corner and runs it in from about 8 yards out.
Right there at the 11. Good again. Jim, a lot of these runs have gone to the end zone because of really good downfield blocking by the wide receivers. It isn't a stat you track.
Yeah.
But you have to wonder about how many yards after block you're getting and how many times they've scored because of great downfield blocking by the wideouts today. Great team football.
Hollenbeck makes it 79-7. The extra point again coming from number 19 instead of 99, Jimmy, and this one is
no good.
Wide right, so the only miscue of the afternoon, and it saves our buddy John Bilello at this moment, for at least this point, from buying chalupas for everybody here on this side. And John, did you put the jinx in on that one, or what happened there, buddy?
Yeah, I guess so. I thought for sure we'd reach 80, but I wasn't meant to be, I guess.
John sitting down there going, miss it, miss it, miss it. And he's got that, he's got that little voodoo doll thing going on down there. And the push to the right makes it 79-7 with 5:08 to play in this football game. And you wonder whether the Brits are going to get another opportunity to be able to score one more time here this afternoon, Jim, or whether their offensive day is over. But the way that they have played defense, even with their second and third unit, gives you the belief that more than likely they'll get at least one more try here this afternoon.
Kerry Wagner, my new favorite fan, sent another message, says Tyler Sykes, great athlete, needs more playing time. Just
wow, there you go. Team records, 80 points back in 2000 against Olivet, or 19, yeah, there you go. Wonderful, thank you. As the Brits did score 80. Here you go, they played 80 at Alma in 96.
We are on the cusp of history.
Versus Olivet in 2000. So they needed one more score here to set a team record this afternoon. We appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Maybe they'll get it on a safety.
Yeah, maybe so. That would be ideal. A safety makes it 81 and knocks it up one more notch and does send John Bilello out to the automated teller machine around here to pull out enough cash to buy us all chalupas on the way home. Handoff for the Falcons there goes to a number 13, and we'll check on that one as well. 13 is
That's
Matt Montgomery.
Yeah,
There
we
you
have
go.
that switch number that Bobby Lee had told us about earlier today.
You know, you get to that point where you're looking for one that doesn't make any sense, and it's right there in front of you on your sheet. So my apologies to the Montgomery family right there, as he did change numbers today, but he's right there in big, bold print right in front of me.
Been there since the beginning today.
Not one I had to add here. Taking a little time is Dalton Poole as he allows that play clock to run just a little bit, down to 4:23, and now we have a whistle. The interior of that line, and a procedure call will go against Concordia.
I want to take a moment also to congratulate the Britain's men's cross-country team. They jumped to number 3 in the first Great Lakes regional rankings by the United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association, and they ranked 7 in preseason. They did well in the Sudak Sundown Classic on September 1st, and Coach Derek Lawrence says his team is focused making daily improvement this season. So congratulations to the men's cross-country team. Excellent job so far.
79-7 here with under 4 minutes to play in the ball game, as the Brits really just having one of those afternoons against Concordia, Wisconsin. Decent crowd on hand. They all came in their summer garb today. In fact, a couple of umbrellas around the stadium this afternoon. But everybody that's out there in their shorts and their T-shirts, grab a little sunshine one more time before maybe that fall season hits here in lower Michigan.
It happens fast, too.
It does.
Once it goes fall, it's fall full on.
You know,
this is a beautiful respite today.
Looking at some of the leaves turning colors across the stadium right now, as Poole calls his own number, and he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, and it'll set up a 4th down now. And just like that, the Britons about to get that football back with just about 3 minutes to play in this ball game. Clock will roll, and there's 28 seconds on the play clock, so I would bet that they're going to take their time before they kick this football away.
I wouldn't be in any hurry.
Isaiah Gibson will stand back on his 45-yard line, waiting the kick.
2 Brits coming out at the last moment there.
And Gerlitz will again try to kick. Last time he had some difficulties with the handle on that football.
Almost had 12 on the field right there for the Brits. As good job by, I believe that was Winchell. Ran off after he ran on.
And we do have I believe a delay of game here on the Falcons, and that'll send the punter into the end zone now to kick this one away. And somebody's got a birthday out in the crowd as Gibson now moves his way to midfield. High snap, Gerlitz gets it away. It'll be a short kick, comes off the side of his foot, and it will take a Britain's bounce at the 33 and be down to the 31.
Well, Jim, special teams cost them their 80th point. Is it possible that a field goal puts them over 80 to set the single game scoring record?
And you kind of wonder what the coach's mindset is at this point in time. You've got 2:17 to play in the game. Do you take a couple of knees and call it an afternoon and be happy with 79, or do you really try to make something happen right now as we go to a 3rd string quarterback now, as we go deep down into, nope, we got Thomas back in there too. Yeah, it looks like 2's out.
Either that or it's Jonathan Luchka.
There you go. That's what because he's a right-hander. So there you go. It's the freshman now, and he'll send the ball out to Isaiah Gibson in the flat, and Gibson will be ahead for about a half a dozen as he'll cross the 25 down to about the 24-yard line. And you're right. I mean, when you get to this level, then you start to get double numbers.
Yep.
And the one way you can honestly tell the difference oftentimes, and especially in this case, is one guy's throwing from the wrong side of the field. As the righty comes in wearing number 2 here late in this football game.
You can see them running the play clock quite a bit farther down than previously.
I think that's a good idea.
He should have just cut that one straight up. Looking to make a play, you certainly can't fault Jacob Clark right there. Hindsight being 20/20. But that's where he probably cost himself about 3 or 4 yards.
So Clark sets up a 3rd down and 4 with his run. The clock down to 1 minute and 20 seconds and counting, and the game clock Just about 25 seconds on the play clock right now. And now we send number 10 into quarterback here.
And that's Antonio Mangiapane.
There you go. So everybody's getting a chance to go in and play this afternoon.
And you have to be ready when your number's called.
That's exactly it. And he'll turn and hand off. And the run will go off the left side and then out of bounds. And the clock will continue to roll. And who's 34, Jimmy?
34, Carlos Parks.
There you go. So Parks gets the run. It sets up a 4th down now and a couple for the Brits.
And it looks like barring a penalty or a touchdown, Mr. Bolello is going to
just wiggle his way off the hook here today. Much like a Michigan rainbow trout, John Bolello will avoid having to buy everybody here on this sideline.
Is rainbow trout the indicative the native fish of Michigan, Jim?
Well, around here in the river, I'm sure there's a couple of them over here, and floating up and down the river. And, you know, you get a little farther north and you get some meaner, bigger fish at that point in time. But today, the more agile and elusive rainbow trout, I think, is more like our own John Bolello this afternoon. And, Johnny, that's going to do it. And you're going to wiggle off that line with 1 tick left on the clock. The Brits are going to have to take a knee here, I believe. Yeah, maybe not. But everybody's going to the sideline, and I would think that's going to be the end of it. So both teams are going to come over here and shake hands,
and that's going to
that's going to be the end of it. And the Brits will put a 79-7 victory on the final scoreboard here this afternoon. And John Bolello will work his way up here. And before we let him out this afternoon, we'll get him to check the scores from the MIA one more time. But that is your final this afternoon. 79-7, the Brits win this one. It was a laugher from the beginning, Jim. The Brits took off right away, and they just kept on going. And let's go through some of the stats before we wrap things up quickly here this afternoon from Albion.
Refresh this one more time, but again, your final 79-7. Albion defeats Concordia, Wisconsin, as you see the handshake line going across midfield, which I always enjoy watching D3 Sports. Just have to scroll down here. It's not playing nice right now with me. Team comparisons, 40 first downs to 15 advantage Albion, 22 through the air, and I believe 18 on the ground for the Britons. 746 total yards of offense compared to 248. That's 477 through the air, 269 on the ground compared to 168 and 80 for Concordia, Wisconsin. We'll go to some individual statistics once Jim's computer starts cooperating. Dalton Poole, 12 of 22 for 168 and 2 interceptions. Jordan Edwards, the leading rusher, 10 carries for 45 yards. Mirasola, 10 for 38. And Matt Montgomery, 9 for 24.
Well, that computer, it's tired, man. It's been taking care of 79 points here this afternoon and about a zillion yards of total offense here this afternoon for the Britons.
Jake Rippertella and Isaiah Tennant, 3 catches each. 1 catch for 43 yards for Busher and Sanders, 2 for 35. And we'll scroll back up and we'll get some quick stats for the Britons, Jim. Kyle Thomas, 21 of 27 for 351, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Sam Blanzy, 9 of 13, 126 and 1 touchdown. Thomas also led the team in rushes, 7 for 62. Freeman had 9 for 59. Surzo, 5 for 55. Mitchell, 5 for 30. Hollenbeck, 3 for 29, and Zarnecki, 4 for 20. I mention all those numbers because each scored at least 1 touchdown. If you're counting at home, that is 6 different Britons getting in on the ground, 2 of those touchdowns for Zarnecki. Through the air, Koski, 6 catches for 105. Poor, 5 for 70. Marlon Martin had the 1 catch for 78 and a touch. Gibson, 4 for 57. Swindeman, 2 for 49. Sykes, Winchell, and Hess had at least 3 catches in the game. So an excellent job all the way through by the Britons. Too many players to mention, as I believe we had a record number 615 different players participate today for the Albion Britons. We had to go 15 deep.
It was a fun afternoon here in Albion as the Brits win 79-7 this afternoon. And John, one last time around the conference, how's the MIA doing this afternoon?
Well, the Alma and Benedictine game. Alma and both teams added another touchdown to make it 45-25 Alma by halfway through the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, the Olivet game did finish up 37-21 Olivet over Aurora. Tryon continues to hold on to their 61-0 lead against, I believe that was Wisconsin Lutheran. Yep, and then Hope is now tied with Lakeland 23-23, so real back and forth game there.
Wow. Good ball game. One good ball game this afternoon. The rest of them are going to the MIAA. Everybody gets a break. What are you up to next week when we don't have football, big fella? Studies?
Probably studying and something lacrosse related.
Study, lacrosse, study.
Midterms will be coming up, so
so
gotta hit the books.
Got it. Attaboy. John, as always, a wonderful job this afternoon. We'll see you next time we get back here to Albion. And in between now and then, ace all your midterms, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
And get your credit card ready, because the next time, man, we're going over that 80 mark, and you're going to be buying everybody lunch. How's that?
I hope so.
John Valello, our sideline reporter, and a great job again this afternoon. Jimmy, as you put a wrap on everything for us here.
For complete details on today's game, as well as all other news and notes on the Britain Falls Sports Network, visit GoBrits.com. Our thanks to the crew on the screen there. Of course, myself, Jim Funderburg, and John Balella doing the announcing. The producer for today is Ken Rieker from Richard Productions. The production crew included Ken's son, Nick, as well as Samantha Murphy, Andrea Hill. And want to thank, as always, the staff at Albion College, Matt Aaron, the Director of Athletics, Bobby Lee, the Sports Information Director, and, of course, President Maury Ditzler for giving us his time at halftime. This game is a production of Richard Productions and FJ Productions. I want to thank all of those folks for making today's broadcast possible. And thank you, as always, for watching the Britain's Sports Network. Have a great weekend, everybody.